What's good, YouTube family and TSF Entertainment podcast fans? It's your boy, the Juggernaut of Souls, and I'm back with the fam, man. Really BTV, Miss Honey, Jack of Jordans, and Retro CG. We are talking about today Power Episode 3, Power Star.
Fire starter.
Yeah, Fire Star.
Did you say Power Starter?
Yeah, you said Power starter. What's going on, family? How's everybody?
What's good with y'all, man? How was
Yeah,
y'all?
what's going on?
What's going on? Hey, Miss Honey, welcome back.
I'm back to redeem myself and my microphone.
Well, we're happy to have you.
What's good, chat? What's good, everybody? Please smash that like button.
Smash the like, smash the subscribe, pass it on to your friends, share it.
Right, smash
Subscribe.
pass.
Subscribe.
No pun intended.
So,
All right, so
talk about the episode.
Man, I think personally, I think Tommy is picking up on the vibes that the factions are divided. You know what I'm saying? Cain kill Abel, man, if you will. You know what I'm saying? That's how I'm looking at it. The factions are divided. He see a lot of division, a lot of too many chiefs, not enough Indians. You know what I'm saying? So that's the way I'm looking at it so far.
Well, the episode for me was pretty good, but we'll get deeper into that later. But to piggyback on that, I think Tommy's learning a hard lesson that, sometimes you got to know the history of things before you just walk in and think you want to change and take over. So he's learning some hard lessons.
I agree. For me, and I get that we're on episode 3. So I'm hoping that things pick up next week. And of course, we're still learning the characters. So for me, it's still moving just a little bit slower than I wish. And I know it's a whole different. It's almost as if this series is like me. You were talking about Crystal. This series could almost stand alone from the Power brand itself.
Sorry,
and because
I can't do that in that app.
And because the characters are sorry, y'all, it's my Siri.
She's so nosy.
She always listening.
She's possessive.
Your business.
So, because the characters are so new, it's going to take a while for us to get vested into these characters. Like, at this point, I really don't know who to root for beyond Tommy. So I'm hoping that the character development picks up a little bit more.
I don't have no dogs in this fight, actually, besides Tommy. I'm with you on this. I actually like this episode. I think it was a little bit more subtle than the other episodes where it seemed like it was a bunch of stuff going on. You kind of see the division between the particular gang or organization. Actually, through multiple organizations, actually, you see division between father and son, which we have seen, recently, but it came out a little bit more in this episode. I actually like the fact that it was a little bit more subtle than the other two.
Miss Honey, how you feel about
it? I'm a little jaded. I've been doing this dance with Courtney Kemp, since the original Power, and I kind of feel like, oh, I see where this is going. I'm wondering if Tommy can hold a whole book for himself. Can he? I'm just curious if his character is strong enough to do that. Especially as is. The other thing is that I'm just wondering how much is fluff. You know what I mean? We don't really know what's fluff until, like, if there's 10 episodes, we wouldn't know until it was like 7. We'll realize all the stuff we were peeling through in 1 and 2 was nonsense. Doesn't even matter. It's not even going, doesn't even apply to the storyline. And I just kind of feel like some of the things that we're seeing now, that we're paying the attention to the little nuances, it's not even gonna matter. Courtney's writing this every Saturday night and putting it out Sunday morning for us. So I don't know. I'm so jaded. Let me just.
So we start the episode off where we left off in last week's episode, where Tommy is discovering the bricks that Liliana has hidden in the floor. And so we see they are kind of negotiating, what the terms of their involvement with each other is going to be. Are we going to continue to try to kill each other? And Tommy's like, well, let me correct myself. Am I going to just kill you and take your drugs, or are we going to work together? And so I really like the fact that he didn't kill her. Normally what we see with Tommy is he kind of reacts fast. He doesn't think through things. So I think the realization that he's here in Chicago, he don't got no workers, he don't got no team. So, maybe it's not best for me to get rid of her right now because she can be an ally instead of an enemy. And
Right.
he goes to the refrigerator and reaches for a beer and tell her to put it on her head to help with how he don't beat her up. And she was like, shit, you ain't give a fuck about my face when Pink Sneakers slashed me up, So, she's kind of suspicious of him. At the same time, he's kind of like past this point now, like let bygones be bygones. Let's find a way to work together. So what y'all thinking?
That brick saved her life.
Yeah.
But I mean, in the back of my mind and in the back of Tommy's mind too, because he keeps bringing it up, who does it belong to and what's the real story? Because she ain't telling the whole story, and she won't tell him who they belong to. And I think that's going to be important. That's going to be an important part of this story.
I agree.
Liliana's hella grimy, man. She's grimy. It's no telling whose brick that is, but I got a feeling it's definitely a cartel.
Yeah.
But
I think I know who they belong to.
I don't think she's that hurt either. I mean, she's like the I shouldn't even say that, but she's like the bug you kill and you think it's dead until you hear it dragging its hanging abdomen. She took those. Yeah, she's grimy. Those drugs could probably some really bad people, and for her to just hang in there, like in the city, and she's got all this dope, and she's admitted that she's cutting for a lot of people.
Yeah, she's like a freelance cutter, like.
For her not to hightail it, I don't know.
Well, we also learned that she has 10 bricks. She's got 30.
Tommy gave her a life lesson too.
That's pure cocaine.
Yeah, she's got $30,000 worth of coke here, and you say
I thought it was 30,000 a brick or something.
No, it was 30,000 a brick, bro.
Yeah, it was 30,000 a brick.
I thought it was,
and then they cut it.
I thought he said it was 10K a brick.
No, he said 30.
I thought he said 10K a brick too, but I guess I missed it.
I guess I did.
I thought he said 30.
That still would be a lot more if it was 10K a brick because she had 10 bricks.
Well, yeah,
it's still a lot of money.
Yeah,
it's a lot of money either way.
So
either way, she says that whoever she stole the drugs from didn't walk away from the fight. So she's inferring that she killed the person that she stole the drugs from. And that could be true, but I don't think that it was just the person that she stole the drugs from and that's it. I think that it is for a cartel. Me personally, I think she stole them from the Servians. And for some reason, I guess because yesterday I spent a lot of time on book one. Because here lately, before I go watch these newer episodes, I go back and I watch different episodes from Power. And I particularly focused in on the season where Tommy was in Chicago and he was working with the Servians. I think they made a mistake. And when they left Milan's wife alive.
Oh, wow.
I think that she's going to come back. Her name was Tatiana. Remember, she was posing as a waitress at the club. Yeah. And remember, Tasha rolled up on her. And that night they killed Milan. They let her go. And remember when they had kidnapped Tommy when he had came out to Chicago, she showed up when they were trying to find out who authorized Tommy to kill Milan. And remember, she showed up and she told the Serbians that she believed Tommy and she didn't believe the other guy. For some reason, that's a feather in the hat for me. I feel like Tatiana's going to come back. I don't think we've seen the last of her. So
I wouldn't be surprised about that. I mean, I can see Courtney kind of leaning toward stronger female characters, whether she would follow through on it or not. So that would be super cool, man.
That's what it looks like for this series. Because, I mean, you have Tatiana, you have the whole, just like we talked about last week. So for me, I felt like, we're looking for someone else to come back, but who we are not expecting, just like we didn't expect with Liliana, is Milan's wife. So I feel like she's going to come back, and I feel like those drugs belong to her organization.
They belong to somebody because whoever she took out, that wasn't it. You just probably just took out who you had
Stole the drugs
immediate
from.
interaction with at the time, but that ain't it. And you know, Tommy gave her some pointers. He was like, "You ain't learned nothing from running for me and Ghost. You know, it's not about it's about when they come back. They're definitely coming back."
I was trying to figure it out. So did she kill the plug or the load? The load, right? It's the load because she got all the keys.
Right.
Okay.
Or either that she stole somebody's re-up.
Oh.
Right.
She stole somebody's re-up, most likely.
Oh, wow.
And I'm thinking about myself. I understand that they cut it, but what y'all gonna do when y'all sell it off? when y'all sell it off, y'all ain't got no distributors. So what y'all gonna
Chicago is a big joint. They're gonna find somebody to go ahead and get them together.
So in the next scene, we see Vic. He show up at the Chicago Police Department, and we see that his crew has gotten roped up, and so he's coming to bail them out. And he gave the lady at the police department 10 stacks to get them up out of jail. Well, it was like 9,000. He gave her $1,000 tip. So
for Marvin and for Retro, that scene reminded you of what from y'all favorite movie?
Harlem Nights. Hey,
that's what I thought of when I saw that. I was like,
waiting for him when I heard her say it's 9,500. I was waiting for him to be like 9,500. That's it. That's what I was waiting for. I was waiting for that.
Sugar.
Right.
I'm mad you know that's our favorite movie.
Right. That's why when I saw that, I was like, oh. You know what, Dina in the comments, I agree. She said that Tommy recognizes the card on that. I think he's seen it before too. I think he can't quite. I think he knows he can't place it, but I think he's seen it before.
Yeah, I don't know why he can't place it though.
Well, when you just listen, he do a lot of drugs.
That's true, and I had forgot about that till I saw him take a
for a lot
bump.
of cartels too. You got to think about it. He's worked for Milan, Lobos, and the Serbians, and so he's.
But that's the reason why I think he should know it.
Yeah, I was about to say the same thing.
That's the reason why he should know. Them. But then I did forget until he took that bump that he was real bad, with the product.
Yeah,
for a long
he used
time.
to be real bad at one time.
Now that's the Tommy we don't want to come back because that dude would kill anybody.
That was the Tommy that was with Holly.
They choke Holly up and kill that puppy. I know he killed a puppy.
And it seems like they somewhat changed his character a little bit, the writing for his character, because back in book 1, he was kind of a cokehead a little bit.
Yeah.
And in this one, he just wanted to test the product and that was it. He didn't want to indulge in it like how he had before. So it seems like he's kicked that habit.
I hope so.
He's grown past that.
I hope so. That Tommy there is no good for business, man. He'll be dead in no time.
Mm-hmm. So we see Vic meets with the dirty cop. What is his name? He's got
it's Bennigan, but my niece and nephew used to call the restaurant Bennigan's Begin Again. So I was like, that's Begin Again. Yeah, he's got an Irish name, but he's clearly African.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but we see we have a different type of dirty cop than we're used to in the other series. He's working for the organization, but at the same time, he's not in bed with them totally. It's not like they got complete control of him, like how Lobos had control over the guy in the U.S. Attorney's office, and even with Ramirez in book 2, it doesn't seem necessarily all for cleaning up their dirty work. He'll do what he can when he can, and that's about the extent of what he's going to do. And that's pretty much what he told him in this scene. Like, you ain't got a cop problem, you got an alderman problem.
Well, I think that's why he only could do so much, because he got an alderman problem. It's over his head at this point. If it was something on a local level with local, Chicago police, then he probably could help clean it up. But once it goes over into that area, then that's something completely different. We talk politics at this point.
What is the extent to an alderman's reach? I didn't think that an alderman had that much control.
He had a lot of pull on good times.
In Chicago,
you're right.
It's a city. It's the equivalent of a city council member. But in
Okay.
Chicago, because whenever you see these shows in Chicago, for some reason these alderman positions, I think they yield a lot more power. But I mean, it's the equivalent of a city council position, so that's a powerful position, especially in a big city. So I mean,
But they control a lot of contracts and building. Like they're more on the what do you call that? The civil level. They control a lot more stuff. I think.
Yeah.
Seems like to
Well, that
me,
makes sense.
housing and stuff like that.
Because we even see that with Rashad Tate in Power. He's a councilman, but he
Yeah.
seems to be pretty powerful. He can reach certain areas.
Yeah. He started out like an alderman type position too, I guess.
But what we do see here is Vic flexing a little muscle. Even though we still think he's a little soft or whatever the case may be, I mean, he's just basically using money and influence to kind of flex his muscle. Not because he's feared in the streets. I mean, it's because he can throw some money around at someone. And just like he paid him off, really, that's the extent of his authoritative figure in the streets is why I think it's just with the money.
Well, the thing is, they fear his father. They don't fear him.
Yeah, right.
I mean, everybody clowns him throughout the whole episode. So it's not him that they fear, it's his father. But they know that if they can clown him a little bit and they can push it a little bit, but they know if they go too far, they're gonna be dealing with daddy.
Okay. I don't know that though. I think I kind of toyed with the whole Vic thing because when he was first in the police station, he gave me this air of strength. It just has no longevity. Like he can puff up a little bit, but then he's like, I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna do nothing. Okay, so I don't think he fears the Flynn's, period. I don't think the Flynn's walk heavy at all. I don't see anybody respecting them.
With Vic, I don't think that it's so much is I wouldn't necessarily say that he's soft. It's just the fact that he works with his father. It's kind of like Jordan's son playing on the same basketball team with him. So I don't think it's not that Jordan's son wouldn't be good. It's just the fact that your dad is this. So I don't necessarily think that he's soft. I just think that because of his father, he's never going to get the type of respect that his father.
But because of his father, he can't really fight. Like he can't really, what I'm saying? He doesn't have a lot of machismo. But he sees Gloria kissing Tommy and he goes and buys her mom a headstone.
I understand where you're coming from, Miss Honey, from the point of view of you don't think the Flynn's have. I think the Flynn's are like a dinosaur and they don't know that they're dinosaurs, and that's why the daughter is pushing so hard, because the daughter, the fact that the father won't expand, the fact that the father won't move beyond a certain area of the city, like it's like that's how things used to be done. But if we want to move into the next level, we got to do things differently, which is what Tommy's trying to get everybody to do, and which is what his daughter is trying to push them to do. And he's so stuck on that's not the way we do things. That's not the way we do things. I see where you're coming from that aspect, Miss Honey. I think I do agree with you from that point of view, but I think maybe they're riding off the reputation of of how they used to be, how hard they used to be. I still think there's some fear though. Yeah, but I agree with you that they're sort of maybe that it's waning because they keep talking about how their profits are falling and stuff like that. And the fact that the feds are looking at them, maybe people are kind of keeping a little step back. But I think there's still some fear there though.
And they still have a reputation of running North Chicago.
Yeah. They're ready for retirement. And I think that's exactly right, Crystal. I think that's why Claudia is pushing so hard for a change, because we're not going to survive this. She said that in multiple episodes, like, hey, if we're going to survive, we need to look for the next big thing.
Right.
Pushing these pills ain't cutting it. Our money's just dropping. And, and keeping in mind, they're also using the drug money to keep their legitimate businesses going as well. So, they're going to have to, make some adjustments on their end. So we see Liliana and Tommy are back at his place, and she reveals to him that she knows how to cook and cut. And
yes,
so,
indeed.
And she goes ahead and whips up the work, and this was a really good scene. I really like this scene because now we're seeing how their partnership
Building up an alliance.
Yes, they're building up their alliance.
Yeah.
And I really like the reference to Ghost. You know, she was asking him about Ghost. You know, is Ghost gonna come down here and help you move his weight or whatever the case may be? And he reveals to her at that time that Ghost is dead. And you know, she asked him, "Did you do it?" And he was like, "No, I didn't do it, and I couldn't stop it." And so you see where she had respect for Ghost as well. And you know, they had a little toast to Ghost.
She seemed like she had a. She seemed like she almost had a little. She almost seemed like she had a little remorse and like hurt from him, you know, giving her the news.
Yeah, sadness. It took her back a little bit, I think.
And I think it's because of the fact that, you know, Ghost pushed for her to remain alive, you know, whereas Tommy wanted her dead.
Right.
Ghost that, you know, wanted to keep her alive. So, you know, she had some respect for him in his hustle.
I mean, he was a big energy, you know, so for her to be like, Ghost? You know, like, that's how she took it. Like, really? Ghost? Ghost is dead.
People, right, yeah.
Like, you saw the body.
Yeah.
And then she took that breath and she was like, I'm just finna say it. Did you do
it? Right. Like, I'm just gonna put this out there. But I also feel like, too, you know, there's a point where you feel like it'll never, like, you just feel like people never gonna die. Like Ghost, he had survived so much, you know what I mean? That people probably, you know, you probably thought he ain't going out like that, you know.
Yeah. He gonna be the last one standing, especially with everything that he was trying to do of getting out of the life and, you know, trying to make himself legitimate. He would be the last person you would expect not to survive because he wasn't even in the street like that.
Right.
So
like who would have thought that Tommy would have got out? You know what I'm saying? Like
right. And he deep in these streets, right?
It shows the depth of Tommy character too. For her even to ask that, knowing that they, you know, best friends, that she would ask, "Did you do it?" Kind of show what type of person that Tommy can be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. When that conversation came up, there was definitely a shift in the energy in the room. Mm-hmm. You know, you could feel it just watching it. You know,
I agree. So we see Tommy shows up at his grandmother's house. He's going to bring dinner for him and JP. And what, Miss Honey? Go ahead, Miss Honey.
I don't know, man. I just listen. This whole thing. This is what I'm saying. This is what I was babbling on about in the beginning. Something tells me this brother piece here is just a placeholder in case they need something.
It's so
because it's so friggin' unnecessary. First of all, you show up with two pieces like y'all gonna have beer and chill out, and you have a half a slice. He tells you can't go upstairs because it's all gutted. Right? We gotta stay down here. I'm like, this dude sounds like a scam artist.
But then he says, "Well, I don't know what's going to happen with the house. So why are you working on it?"
Right. But you said
you don't even know who's paying for the woman for the grandmother to be in the retirement home, but you know that you got permission to be in her house. Like,
how you get the keys? Who I mean, what's
how you get the key? Right?
Like, what's going on? You said you and your dad pulled up on your granny after she was in the home.
Yep. So they just
how you the house?
And here's the question I have: where is the father at? Is he in the hospital?
Is
he
right?
Right.
This all I'm saying. Is he upstairs in one of the gutted rooms?
That's what
are you squatting in this house? Are you squatting in this house? Because it sounds like to me, dude, you're running a scam. You're running a scam.
You say squatting in the house.
It's
a real thing.
Yeah,
you get in the house and you can't.
It's definitely a real thing. It's definitely a real thing.
You know, you can't go upstairs. You just have to stay in this area. He looks like he's fixing it up. He just keeps dropping these little breadcrumbs like, oh, here's a movie I found of you and your mom. And oh, look, here's your height. Yeah, right here. It looks like we were both here, but just not at the same time. Then he says, you know what? I don't trust this money. I'm going to give this money back. Right? I don't want any part of this because I'm not even sure if it's legal, right? Just kind of fishing. And Tommy sells him this story, right? And then he says, give me a number. And the guy's like, I don't know. Come on, take my money. Let me give you more money. And he's like, $198,000.75. Oh, also $279,000.50. Oh, so let me get this straight. You need $500,000.
Right.
He had it down to the dollar though.
You gonna
For the cent.
give ethically? You're gonna give 10 grand back or 25 grand or whatever that knot is,
But
right?
you need 200K.
Pretty much.
This is a grifter's move, man. He's
grifter.
coming across like a scam artist.
He is with that. When he came up with that number and it was exact like that, he didn't say around 200,000. He came up with the exact number. I'm like,
Right.
yeah, something ain't right about
Not like
Bill.
one of them
Something right
cash
about bro.
scam artists.
Like the ex-husband. What was the ex-husband doing? Like something ain't right about bro.
I just think they're leaving it, putting it in this weird space where if they need to reference
They
this
can shift this
storyline
character.
and make it applicable in some other place in the season, that's what they're going to do. Or they're going to leave it dead and maybe revisit it in season 2 or season 3. And then we're all going to be like, what happened to the brother? Remember the brother said he needed money? We're just going to, it's a weird, oh my gosh.
I'm with you. It's unnecessary, and if there is a reason, they need to hurry up and bring it around, because with every one of these throwaway scenes, you're really just creating more questions than answers, but unnecessary questions. Like it's almost like a red herring. Why are you making us pay attention to this when we really need to be focusing on this? Like, why are we looking over here?
Mm-hmm.
And then
I
goes
agree.
back to
I agree
my issue
100%.
with all these new characters that we have. Each one of these characters' story needs to be developed for us to be vested into the character's place in the story. So, I could have dealt with the brother being introduced in season 2 after we've learned all the other characters, but we got so many other characters, so many other story arcs going on. This was an unnecessary story arc for season 1. Y'all could have expanded on this story arc later on down the line. Give it to me at the end of season 1. Give it to me in season 2 or season 3. But to bring all of these different story arcs on top of Tommy's own story arc, it's all distracting. It's like, where do I want to focus my attention on? Do I want to focus on what's going on with his relationship with the brother? Do I want to focus on him getting back into the drug game? Do I want to focus on what's going on with CBI and the Flynn family? Like, and then you bring the feds in as well. This episode, you just got too much stuff that's going on that is unrelated to the other characters.
We haven't even met the Polish yet, right? Like, we haven't even unpacked the Hispanic chick that he did the drug deal with last week. Like,
I know I might probably get some flack with my theory, but my theory as to who's paying for Tommy's grandmother to be in the nursing home is Ghost. I don't think we've seen the last of Ghost's will, because we know that Ghost left.
Ghost's will isn't a magic wand, though.
Well, that's how it's being written.
That's the way it seems.
That's how it's being written.
It's
a genie bottle. It's a genie bottle. You rub on it and you make a wish.
But they may have dropped the Easter egg, and the reason why I say that is because there was a part of the episode where Tommy talked about Ghost and how organized he was.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then we also learned.
And he said that. He said his will. He said, "Man, his will was unbelievable." So it does sort of lend to how many layers were in the will. I'm gonna say this, and I know I'm with Retro on this one. Don't kill me when I say this, y'all. Don't kill me. But if Ghost is still alive, that makes sense. But if Ghost is dead, I don't know.
But I mean, in all of and everything now, even ending book 2, they're bringing a lot of reverence to Ghost now. Like, he's becoming more at first they didn't talk to him. They didn't talk about him. Now all of a sudden you're hearing more and more and more about Ghost. You know what I'm saying? Like,
every episode at this point.
Now y'all got me believing in the Ghost thing. Don't do this.
Right.
Please
don't
do this.
I'm telling you.
I know.
Back up.
I'm a conspiracy theorist.
Why does it make sense what you're saying?
But
why does it make sense?
I know that in the real world, Courtney Kemp and the guy that played Ghost had a real live falling out. And so the likelihood that Ghost is coming back is probably slim to none. But when you look at the story and you look at how they're writing the story, it's not unbelievable to
It's an
say,
open door.
like, even if we go back to
Mhm.
book 2, how does Ghost miraculously know every move Tariq is making? I get it that Tariq was an
Exactly.
extra kid. I get it that Tariq was a knucklehead and was getting in trouble, but it seemed like he anticipated. I get, because people were like, well, Tasha was doing this and Tariq was doing that, so why wouldn't he anticipate the daughter needing to go into foster care? But nobody could anticipate that the grandmama was going to turn into a drunk.
Exactly.
Because if the grandmother had never turned into a drunk, the girl never needed to go into foster care.
And what I have an
Exactly.
issue with is, how does Ghost's will supersede the fact that Tasha's still alive? How does it supersede the fact that Tasha's still alive? So how does his will negate the fact that she has a parent that's still alive? Ghost didn't have full custody of this child. So how can your will?
I don't know how that works with her being in witness protection. I mean, I don't know, because I know what they said in the story, but I never understood why she never took that child with her to witness protection. That never made sense to me.
Well, the reason why I
I
say
don't think
this,
he did. I'm just gonna keep saying that, man, because they keep bringing them back
it's a
up.
cracked door. It's an open door. It's a cracked door. It's a cracked door that they're leaving open. So in case
On purpose,
Kemp-
yeah, they need
yes,
it
in case-
because they don't
We
have
never
to
saw
bring
Ghost.
whatever that guy's name is. Why can't we
Omari
remember his
Howard?
name? Yeah,
it's in
Lamar,
they don't
yeah.
have to bring him back. They can just bring a different ghost back.
But you know,
Nah,
fan
ain't nobody
service,
going for that.
fan service would never go for that. They would never.
I
go
ain't
for
going for that.
Yeah.
Nah,
definitely
ain't nobody
wouldn't
going for that.
either.
But
That'd be worse
it's a
than them
cracked
changing the
door.
theme song.
Bring me those
They didn't
pectorials
change
back.
the theme song in book 2.
Because the reality is that I think somebody said we did, but I don't remember ever seeing Ghost. Did we see him in the
No.
coffin?
No, we
No.
didn't.
The last time we saw Ghost was
we didn't
laying
see
on the ground
nothing.
with Tommy, and
That's it.
we never. So the reality
They just had a
is,
picture of him.
right? The reality is, he absolutely could be in witness protection. He absolutely could be. I'm not saying he is. I'm not saying he's still alive. I'm saying that the back door, like Chris just said, the back door is open. There's a crack in the back door. I don't know.
The reason
Because
why-
you're right. Why do we keep bringing, like, it's I don't know. Because even him talking about the will, like, what was who you talking to about Ghost will? These
Right.
people don't even know him.
If he's dead, let him be dead, and I'm fine with that. If he's dead, let the character be dead. There has been no other references to any other dead characters as much as it has been with Ghost, and I get it that Ghost was a very important part of the story.
Well, we thought Lobos was still. Did we think Lobos was still alive?
Nah, he was out of
because we didn't
No,
see him.
no. A better
He's dead,
reference.
though.
A better
No,
reference.
Courtney Kemp said that Ghost is dead. Like, in her lives, she has been very firm
Of course
about
she
Ghost
gonna,
being
of
dead.
course she gonna say it.
But at the end, but remember, Courtney Kemp is no longer the showrunner for any of these shows.
Right.
They
Ain't
can
she
really
leaving
do
the show
whatever the
too?
fuck they want to do. I know
Isn't
she's
she
still
going-
executive producer, but she's not the writer. She's not the showrunner.
Isn't she going to Netflix at some point?
Yeah, she's got a whole deal with Netflix. So I'm not saying it is going to happen. I'm just saying the back door is open.
I think at some point it's gonna happen.
His water is permanently off.
If
every view.
they get desperate, like if they get desperate and they need to throw a Hail Mary, I can see it happening.
Yep.
But let's be clear. And I mean, we're gonna talk from a business aspect of this. What heals all wounds is a good paycheck. If whatever happened between Courtney Kemp and Omari, if the right person go to Omari with the right offer, I'm not saying he resurrects his role permanently, but I could see Ghost making an appearance here or there on Power. I mean, on on Tommy's show. Like, if we go into a season 2, season 3, I could see it happening. I'm not saying it will, y'all. I'm just saying I wouldn't be surprised to see it happen. That's all I'm gonna say.
So who does he come back as? Does he come back as original Power Ghost pre-Angela, or does he come back as the arsehole that we knew him as in the end?
That's a good question.
You know, is he gonna still be diabolical Ghost, or is he gonna be I'm trying to get out of the game and provide for my family Ghost?
If he comes back on book 2,
I don't think we're gonna see Ghost. I think we're gonna see James St. Patrick.
But if he comes back on book 2 with Tariq, he comes back as asshole Ghost. If he shows up with Tommy, I don't know. We might see old Ghost. I don't know.
He shows up
what if
on
they
Tommy,
recast Ghost and say,
Ghost.
well, I don't know.
If he shows up on Tommy, he's definitely old Ghost.
Again, we spent a lot of time on that. I don't know.
It depends. It depends on what he comes back into, the reason why
Yeah,
he's
that's a
brought
good
back.
question, though. That's a real good question.
It depends on what he needs to be brought back into. So the point that I was trying to make was that I do think it's a crack door because if him and Courtney Kemp resolve the issues and they decide that they want to go back down this route, they'll write him back into the show for whatever reason they have to. He may have to come back in and help Tariq. He may have to come back in and help.
You got to come in and help Tommy.
Right. The reason
that
why
cartel drugs he stole.
The reason why I say that I feel like it's Ghost's will or Ghost's trust that's paying for Tommy's grandmother to be in the nursing home is the fact that they use the word trust. Second thing is we know that Ghost left Kate some money.
Yeah.
We know that Kate raised Ghost when his mom ran away and his father died. So we know that Ghost and Kate had a close relationship. So there may be things about Tommy's past that Ghost may have known that Tommy didn't know, and he may have made provisions for that. Because he made provisions for everybody that was in his life at that time. So it could be that Ghost's trust is paying for Tom. I just feel that was very odd because they ain't have no money, Kate ain't have no money, so who else would be paying for the lady to be in the nursing home? So I just feel like, if that is the case, that I think that's pretty stupid. But I feel like it's a way to keep the character's name relevant in the story. Even though we don't have the actual Amari Hardrick playing Ghost, we still want to keep Ghost's name alive in the series. So we're going to have to find ways to keep him relevant, like with the adoption, like with sending a letter to Tariq. So even though we don't, just like with the episode in book 2, where everyone else that died showed up in person, but you got Ghost calling on the telephone.
It was a cell phone call, right?
So they're looking for ways to keep the character alive.
Yeah. That's a valid point. That's a valid point.
You had your hand raised, Tony. I'm sorry.
Well, I just wanted to acknowledge.
I point out for like ever. So there it goes. Go ahead.
I wanted to acknowledge. Why am I echoing? I ain't touching nothing. I wanted to acknowledge Ephraim's comment when he says that scares me because Tommy's new brother, to cross him in any way, we know Tommy's gonna end him. He's playing on Tommy's weakness for family, and that's kind of how I feel too. I just feel like he's leaving all these little breadcrumbs for Tommy, but Tommy is not in a headspace where he's questioning anything or investigating anything. Like, he hunted down Holly's dad and beat him to death, right?
With a baseball bat.
And
I don't think his water is off permanently. We might get a reconnection, Evan. We might get a reconnection.
Pay that fee. Pay that reconnect fee.
Yeah, we pay that reconnection fee.
Yeah, so it's weird. It's just a little bone of contention I have about this brother. I don't know.
Well,
anyway.
it's just one of those unnecessary annoyances that we have to suffer through for however long the story arc. And I think they're trying to piece it together and give it some substance where it can have some legs on its own.
Make it meaty, yeah.
With the D-Mac character. So with the D-Mac character, I think that we may get some more substance with the whole Tommy and long lost brother relationship. But until they make that connection, it's just dead weight right now that we can do without in the storytelling, because we want to focus in on these other things.
D-Mac is the son, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's the same thing I was saying last week. He could stand right next to his dad and his dad wouldn't know him. So why shoot at him? So this week I'm thinking he's shooting at him because maybe he scammed his mom out of her life savings.
Could be. He seemed like a scam artist.
He didn't say when he went to jail. He also went to jail. He said, when I went in,
he could have went for scamming.
She took him away from me. He said
when I came out. When he came out as gay.
Yeah.
What he go to? They never said what he went to jail for either,
though. So we get to the next scene. We see the brothers, Sampson brothers. They're going out to, or what is this, like an abandoned baseball field that they're going to?
Yeah, it looked like it might be in a poverty-stricken neighborhood.
Yeah.
He was talking about, you know, building something better for the kids to actually utilize and have, opposed to, like, you know, basically in comparison to the much more you know,
Affluent.
upper neighborhoods, upper class
Mhm.
neighborhoods.
I thought it was a good conversation. I enjoyed it.
I really
It definitely showed a different side of Gennard to me.
Well, I think his
Again, Nino Brown
character
giving out turkeys
bio.
in the hood.
I think his character bio was that he was supposed to have been in college on a baseball scholarship. So I
Mhm.
think that's what that whole tie-in was about, the whole baseball fielder thing, because he had an opportunity that he didn't get a chance to take advantage of because of the streets. His brother got locked up and he had to end up taking over CBI or whatever. So the fact that he wants to give back to the community in that way, I think that's a callback to what he's supposed to be doing right now. He's supposed to be playing baseball professionally right now, but because of circumstances, he wasn't able to have that opportunity. So I really thought it was a good conversation too, until we get
Oddly enough, he
to the
was in
fact
hardball.
that they were actually playing baseball, and then an argument ensues about control over the well, not necessarily control over the organization, but the difference between how Diamond chooses to want to handle business versus how Gennard wants to handle business. And you know, Gennard is bothered by Tommy's presence and trying to figure out why his brother is entertaining it and why you haven't smoked him by now. If this was the old Diamond, you would have smoked him by now. Why are you even paying attention to this guy? So it's like I've been saying, we're starting to see where they're going to be a crossroad and they're dividing.
We got another cap and gown cameo, I see.
I see.
Hey, I see that.
So
I was a little pissed about that, having them out in the dust like that, man. I ain't like that.
Playing baseball, yeah. Yeah.
It happens.
So what y'all think about this scene?
Personally, I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed the scene actually. It actually shows the direction of, you know, where CBI was heading, you know, and it kind of like shows the inevitable, you know, a little later on further down the line, that a decision will have to be made of who's gonna run it. He's not the younger brother who's just happy to be at the table. What he said, you know, he's like, well, I earned this seat. He was like, nah, I gave you the seat. But then he says, you know, I made us relevant. So even if you gave me this seat, like, we wouldn't be on the way that, you know, we on if it wasn't for me, you know, when you went in. Circumstances happened and he had to go in, he had to sit down for a little while. But it just shows that they both have their own idea of which direction they want CBI to go to, and they just can't agree on it, and which leads to the next, you know, the next run-in they have, which is definitely something that had to happen. The conversation about doing something charitable, I mean, even though it's drug money, but the conversation about doing something charitable was pretty dope too, even though it's drug money.
Yeah.
Well, isn't that historical though? I mean, isn't that how
It is.
the crooks got the neighborhood to support them? You know, they always
It
did
is.
the, you know, turkey giveaway. Oh,
You
he
buy
would
him
pay
off, you
people's
keep him
rent.
quiet.
Oh, he would buy, you know, we had Rayful Edmond here. You know,
Mhm.
he would buy kids clothes for back to school, and
Yeah,
like,
you got to
isn't
keep
that
him
how
quiet.
they always? So that's nothing new. You know what I
You
mean?
buying their trust. You got to keep them
Yeah.
quiet.
Yeah.
And their loyalty.
Yeah.
Yeah, that benevolence. That's Godfather of Harlem.
Right.
Yeah, pretty much.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You take care of them, they'll take care of you.
I don't like Gennard, man.
I don't either. I'm ready for his water to get turned off.
I don't like Gennard either.
I don't like Gennard.
Why, Juggernaut?
Gennard is Kane, man. Like, I don't like that.
He's a hothead. He's arrogant. He's pompous.
He
I don't
reminds
know if he Kane.
he reminds me of, I'm not, when I say Kane, I mean he's Kane biblically, bro.
Yeah.
Like, he's
gotcha.
Kane, bro. Like,
I don't put him in the same category as Kane. I don't think he's a hothead. I think that exactly what he said. I've been running this, and I've been running, like, you don't understand. There's a different way that we do things. You've been locked up for 15 years.
Yeah, but the
When
way he's doing things though is live wire. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, subtlety, it is cool.
I don't disagree, but what I'm saying is, from
I
his
know you're not
perspective,
disagreeing, but your brother just got out of jail. So for him to go to the streets and just start laying people out is kind of, you know what I'm saying? It's counterproductive to him getting out.
But he's not telling his brother to do it. He's saying, you sit over there and chill. I set you up. I got you a nice crib. I got you your own business. I set you up. I want you he's not asking him to be a part of it. He's telling him, listen, I set you up. Just let me keep doing what I've been doing. And Diamond is like, but you're not doing it right. You need to do it like this. And Jannard is saying, look, all due respect, this is what I've been doing for the last 15 years.
Right. The way I've been doing it has been working.
Because had I not been doing what I've been doing, you don't have that nice crib. You don't have that business that you have. Like, I'm not saying I agree with Jannard. I'm just saying I'm looking at it from his perspective. I don't put him in the same category as a Kane. I don't think he's a hothead. I think he's saying, listen, when you went in 15 years ago, this business was done a certain way, and you were different. You're not the same guy that went in, because if you were the same guy that went in, you would be cool with what I'm doing. And Diamond is like, you're right. I'm not the same guy that went in, and I see that there's a different way of doing business. I don't think either one of them are wrong. They just can't both coexist. Like Damon just said, the fight had to happen because they can't both coexist in that space.
Right.
But I don't think either one of them are really wrong. I mean, honestly.
I think that's my only beef with him is that I don't think that
remind me of Rico off of Paid in Full.
I don't think Jannard is reception. I don't think his reception of, the way that Diamond is looking at things is just like, he's just kind of like, no, we ain't doing it that way because that just don't work. And vice versa. He kind of like, no, we ain't doing this way because that just don't work. The way you doing things just doesn't work. We causing waves, you creating beefs, and whatever. He looking at it from, it's almost like, it seems like one is more of a thinker and another one is more of a muscle, but I don't really get that from Jannard. I just don't like the way he just don't receive any information from anybody. It's going to be his way.
Or that's it.
He's gonna be his way all the time instead of saying, you know what, bro, let me fall back and let me think about it and let's come up with a plan. He just kind of like, nah, we ain't doing it that way. It ain't moving until I tell it to move.
Well, we know he ain't got too much muscle. He got his ass snatched up off that corner.
Yeah, well, so did
Diamond.
I mean, and I kind of talked about it a little bit, but I can kind of relate to their dynamics because I'm second born, right?
Yeah.
My sister's older, and when it comes to the care of my parents, I'm more hands-on, right? Mm-hmm. And for a long time, it was just understood, like this is what it was. I was the one that, was down for the cause, right? And my sister kind of did, lived her life like she wanted to live it. And so, when it kind of crescendo, all I really wanted was for someone to say, you know what? You're not the oldest, but you carry yourself like you're the oldest. And I'm proud of that. Like you're there for us, and I'm proud of that. I wanted my sister to say, I appreciate you being there. And when I couldn't, when I was doing my own thing, right? And ultimately that's what all I wanted was just to be acknowledged as having, stood in the gap and held it down. And I feel like this is what Jannard is saying over and over again. And because all he's getting is a no, we're not doing it that way. No, you can't bring these guys in here. No, you can't do it like that. Instead of saying, you know what? The way you held it down, man, I really admire that. I really appreciate that. Yada, yada, yada. He really just wants some respect. He wants some acknowledgement that he did his part to keep the business afloat. And not only did he do that, but he increased it. I bought your business. You own this. You ain't got to pay nobody nothing for this. I bought this condo. I did that. Acknowledge that. And he's so frustrated that they end up coming to blows, which in a public way, which I was just completely pissed off about. Like, y'all not supposed to be coming to blows like this, especially in front of white folks. Don't do that. You know what I mean? That's what I was thinking in my head. But it had just crescendoed to that place. And then I had this, okay, but I'm not going to go jump ahead. But when I saw the end result with Jannard and JP's son, DP. That was Freudian. The end result, I was just like, oh man.
So I want to respond to Keep It Cute. She was asking about Jannard's ear. I think that the injury to his ear is from last week when he got roped up by Rojas' crew and got beat
It was
down.
before that, CG.
Yeah, because I think I see the black eye and the bruises and stuff.
Oh no,
like
she was
that.
talking about his. She was talking about.
It's called a cauliflower ear.
It's
It
called
can happen from
cauliflower ear,
blunt
yeah.
force.
Okay.
It can happen
Boxing,
from
yeah.
blunt
Yeah,
force.
that's the-
Usually,
A lot
you
of
see
boxers
UFC
have
fighters.
cauliflower ear.
Oh, okay.
UFC
See, I
fighters
thought it
and
was just an
MMA
injury
fighters.
from when he
Yeah.
got beat down
Yeah.
last week.
He's I think the actor himself has got an issue with his eye though. He's got some type of
Lazy eye.
issue. It's not a lazy eye because I think the eyeball is fine. I think his lid just is like droopy. Like I forget that condition where your lid is a little lower, a little droopier than the other one, because they shot him a lot from the good side.
Yeah.
And then when they showed Diamond talking and him looking over at Diamond, you could see that his eye was looking at him and stuff, but he kind of it just opens a little bit more, but just stationary, it droops down a little bit more. And so after they got into it, that was the eye that they made kind of swollen up, when in actuality Diamond was right hitting. He wasn't left hitting. So, but anyway, I digress. So yeah, I think the actor himself has got a little issue with that eye.
And it could be an issue with his ear as well.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah,
I didn't see the ear at all. I didn't see the ear at all.
It's called cauliflower ear. It's kind of
called
what people that
ear.
box,
Usually get it from
MMA, UFC.
Yeah,
like
so
a
maybe
contact
something
sport.
happened on that side of his body altogether.
A lot of blunt force,
Yeah.
to the ear.
Yeah.
Yep. So like those helmets they wear in wrestling, or like the football helmet, stuff like that. If you get enough trauma to your ear, it'll bulge up like that.
Yeah, yeah. I've seen it. I've seen it on old fighters.
Yeah, Randy Couture actually has real life.
Yeah.
You also see where the dirty cop is watching them and taking pictures, and he's on the case, but I don't think he's on the case for law enforcement. I think he's on the case for the Flynn family, watching his every move. So we see Tommy and Liliana. We switch back to Tommy's crib, and they're looking at a map of Chicago, and they're pretty much strategizing on how they're going to approach these different organizations on, who's up north, who we going to sell this coke to, who's down south. And then, there's a lot of unclaimed territory in the middle that we can capitalize on. So, we start to see actually Tommy strategizing a little bit and trying to get, some substance to what his plans are. So what y'all think about that?
I think personally, he's on to something,
I do too.
Tommy now is just to the point now he's like, man, yeah, I need to build my own. I need to have my own. So I think at some point with this alliance with Liliana, I think this alliance is actually going to work to a certain degree, and I think that might end up being his right hand. You know what I'm saying? I could see it kind of going that way, and with him knowing like a lot of division is going on, like the fight with Diamond and Jannard, the way Flynn is with his son, with Victor, I can see basically him rising to the top fairly quick, because he's going to have those chess pieces to move and know how to position things accordingly to basically get it done.
I agree. All right, so we're down to the Finn family's place, and of course, Vic is bringing the news back to Claudia and Walter about the alderman being a problem, and that they need to go ahead and figure out how to deal with the alderman. And we see right here, which we had already been calling it from episode 1, we see exactly how old-minded thinking Walter is, because he literally wants to exploit his daughter to deal with the alderman. Go dress sexy for him, put some on short, put some on good, and
put some sugar on it.
Put some sugar on it, right?
Put some sugar on it.
Alderman, like, go quick with him. and that will solve our problems. And
I gotta steal that one. Put some sugar on it.
She's looking at him like, this is not how we're going to resolve our problem. Me having sex with this dude is not what's going to fix our problem.
But he's also showing his son, this is the way you deal with her.
Right.
This how you use your sister.
Yep. This is how you use her. Yep.
Right.
It's so humiliating.
Ultimately, Walter was right though, because it's kind of exposing the weakness of the Alderman. Like he knew that she would be able to get it done before because the prices will keep going up. You know, it was to go. They will keep moving the field goal post every. You know, he will keep moving the field goal post every time. You know, he felt like it. The price will be constantly going up. So she was like, well, if I can't get him to do what I need to do this way by presenting myself as stimulating the imagination, as he put it, you know, let me pull out this in order to make this pop. I guess this is gonna change your mind after I show you this. Then
I don't know. I got a different viewpoint on that, but I'll get to that when we get to that scene. But that's basically what that's basically the direction that he gave her. But you notice that Victor was very quiet in that scene. He didn't.
Right.
We didn't get his impression on whether or not he agreed with the father's thought or whatever. To me, I feel like Vic has respect for his sister, and I think he really knows that his sister is probably better suited to be running the organization, but can't really endorse her, because he knows how his father feels and their traditional views. It's the same. He's challenged with the same problem that he has with his relationship with Gloria, where his sister is concerned. That neither one of them are going to be accepted. She's not going to be accepted because she's a female. Gloria's not going to be accepted because she's biracial. So Vic is kind of trying to take a neutral stance on all this, but really, I think he feels differently.
This whole scene gave me Game of Thrones, though.
Yep.
Yeah, it did.
Just the way they were sitting around, and ultimately she, as the female, had to be the heavy. It just felt like Game of Thrones to me.
So we see Gloria is visiting a gravesite, and which is her mother's gravesite, and Victor shows up, and we've learned that he bought a new headstone for her mother's gravesite. So, you know, they have a conversation about that, and basically Vic is asking her to wait for him until he figures things out on how they can be together and how he's going to deal with the whole family situation. And then, of course, he also lets her know that he saw her with Tommy. And so I guess he's trying to figure out, is she moving on? Has she moved on? But he still has feelings for her, and he wants her to give him a chance. This relationship is doomed. They need to just...
But, I mean, it shows that they were super close. For him to say your mom was the only one that gave me her blessing. And she said, that's because I convinced her that you would take care of me. I'm like, Gloria, how long your husband been dead? Like, you had a full on with Vic at when? High school? Like,
right.
Well, it definitely sounds like it's something that was long term.
To go on, he was deployed and he never returned.
Right, but was she messing with Vic while her husband was deployed? Like, for your mom to know your mom, I don't know. It's just it's a weird. It's like I need to know a little bit more about what they had going, because at first she was just like, she was very clear about she didn't want to have anything to do with Vic, but now she just seems more affectionate towards him, more endearing towards him.
Well, I think it's inferred based on the fact that her bar is Switzerland, and her bar is, you know, she's paying for protection, like we said last week or whatever the case may be. So maybe it's alluding to the fact that they got involved based on the fact that, you know, she does business with their family. And so maybe from there they develop a relationship. So it's unknown whether or not it was during the course of the time of her marriage or after the fact. You know, she seems to be a very liberated woman. So,
but she seems kind of lukewarm about Vic to me. And does that mean that Tommy can't trust her? Ultimately, is my point. You know what I'm saying? Like, is she gonna eventually, when it comes down to it, even though she seems like she's sweet on Tommy, ultimately, is she gonna pick Vic because she has a heart for Vic?
That's a good point.
I think if she has to make a choice between Tommy and Vic, I think Vic gets that. I mean, I do.
Yeah, I think Vic is going to ultimately win that. It's just the fact that whether or not his family could accept her race.
Yeah,
that's the only hang up. It's a big hang up, but that's the only thing. So if he can somehow, some way work that out, then
when she
he ain't
kicked
like
Tommy to
Flynn.
the curb and be with
Pun
Vic.
intended. He ain't like Flynn.
I don't think that we're going to even have to spend much more time thinking about that. She ain't going to make it that long for that to happen.
Oh,
Ever since Carrie, he done lost hope.
You
Ever
cut
since
her
Carrie.
off?
Exactly. That's all it is. He
Well-
can't have Carrie, so can't nobody else have fun.
Jesus
You know,
Christ.
he didn't
I
cut
want
her
all the
off.
damn
happy.
gone. Off with all of their heads. Off with all of them.
Shit,
Oh,
I'm telling
man.
y'all, she ain't gonna make it that long. So y'all
I
trouble.
don't know. I'm starting to think you might be right about it, especially with her kind of, flip flopping between the
She
boys.
double dipping.
Like,
You think the double dipping gonna catch up with her?
Yeah, she ain't gonna make it that long, y'all. I'm telling y'all, she might not be hanging up like my poor Carrie was, but
I
she ain't
think
gonna make it
his
that long.
dad gonna do it.
Yeah.
That's the only person
Or he
that would
gonna
do
have
it.
someone do it, or he gonna have someone do it. She is a
You
weakness.
can have Paulie
for
to do
Vic.
it.
She's a weakness for Vic, and that father
Mhm.
knows if that father finds out that he's that enamored with her, he's gonna eliminate her. She's a threat to their organization because she's a weakness.
Yeah, because I believe that the father knows about her, but I think the father feels like it's just a fling, it's just sex. They don't have a problem with that, but they have a problem if you want to try to make it permanent. That's the problem.
Yep.
well, at the rate she's gonna be pregnant by Tommy before she pregnant by Vic.
Well, that's true.
Tommy dipping every chance he get.
Every episode at this point, ain't it? Yeah.
And he the only one getting some. Him and
Pulling my
Claudia.
teeth, you might be right. But pulling my teeth might be right.
Oh, let me see what Pull My Teeth talking about. Book 2 gave her Professor Carrie Hilson, and now Book 4 gave us my girl Myra. Right?
Maya.
Like
It
Myra.
might be right.
I'm moving on.
Yo, Miss Hunter, we were talking about that too. She looked different this episode.
Yeah.
She look like Maya.
Yeah, with that hair pulled up. Like she seemed like a different person with that
It's
hair
the nose.
down.
She got that Maya nose.
Yeah, she do look like Maya.
Yeah, them lips too.
Yeah,
Lips
and
too.
lips. Yeah, she do kind of like Maya a little bit.
You know how some people look totally different when they change their hair up. They like two totally different people.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So we see Tommy and Liliana are going to meet with Paulie and Walter, and they're pretty much trying to negotiate some business. Well, right now he's trying to set up a meet between the Finns and the CBI, and we have an interesting little bit of dialogue between Liliana and Paulie. So what y'all think about that scene?
I love it.
My favorite, yeah.
Good scene, very good scene. I mean, with the screenshots you got up there, you can already tell they walking ready for whatever. She got on black Air Force Ones. Hell,
And I'm not trusting nobody with black Air Force Ones. They will
You
be
know what
like
Black
something
Force
completely
Air Force-
different.
you know what
Yeah, you up to no good. You definitely up to no good.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, wait, speaking of black Air Force Ones.
Okay.
Wait
I'm
a
sorry.
minute.
Is that what we doing today?
Yeah, I forgot.
Wait a minute.
Kicks of the day.
There y'all go.
Well,
Y'all want to see mine?
Oh my God! Please.
There y'all go. Kicks of the
Let me tell
day.
y'all what I got on today.
Hey, them Crocs lit. Got the look.
I got on my
Got
Uggs.
Got the Uggs on.
Hey,
All right.
Oh,
okay,
man.
comfort sisters.
listen, that's all it's about.
Sisters of comfort.
Listen, they got their little sneaker situation and give me my Uggs any day.
But yeah, definitely, man. I enjoyed this scene. It actually made me like Liliana way more. I think it kind of gave her a spot in, more than just the sidekick. She just kind of showed that she can hold her own in any conversation, sitting at any table. We haven't seen her physically, but at least on the verbal side of things, any type of conversation, she can hold her own.
Yeah, because she even told him when they were cooking, she told him that I'm not that same girl that used to run for y'all anymore. So it's like, hey, she's about to be number 2.
And she's
not eye candy.
You have it.
Yeah, she's not eye candy.
I like the
She's
fact
not
that
a
they didn't make
damsel.
her eye candy. I like the fact that they didn't make her because in Power she was somewhat eye candy. The way they had her dressed.
For a split second.
Yeah, for a split second she was eye candy, but I like the fact that they are playing off the fact that she's not eye candy. And so, because even when she was coming in to do the cutting or the cooking, she took her clothes off, and she's schooling Tommy like, "Yo, you can't have your clothes on when you're doing this. We can't get this on us." or whatever. And Tommy even made a comment like, "Yo, I ain't feeling you like that." So I like the fact that they make her sexy. You know, I like the fact that they made her street.
Yeah.
So gonna hold her own with Tommy.
Yeah. She's got a hard edge and she can sit with the boys. I like that. That conversation she had with Paulie to me was one of the better dialogue scenes we've seen. I mean, the banter was really good. It had borderline chemistry, even though he looked like he could be her dad.
Yeah.
It was a little chemistry actually, but man, she kept up with it, baby.
It
was like a pissing contest almost. Like you gonna say some asshole something, I'm gonna say some asshole something, and I'm gonna counter it every time you say something.
He was like, "Here are my balls," and she was like, "Here's my balls."
Right, right. I like that. I enjoyed it.
Right, and the fact that she can hold her own with Tommy, so that speaks a lot in itself.
And she knows he can snap and kill her at any moment.
Yeah,
but she got the advantage because she had to wait.
She had to wait, yeah.
That's the only thing that kept her alive.
I was proud of her too when she said no, 50-50.
Yeah, because it was like 37 in my favor.
Yeah, he tried to give her 70-30, and she was like, no, 50-50.
She's like, if I die, man. I'm just finna I'm in too deep right now. I can't be scared.
Right. And she went all in.
Yep.
So you see Vic and Tommy meet up, and they're going to try to facilitate a deal with, I guess, this is one of their customers or one of their regulars or whatever. So they're going to go try to sell him some coke where normally they would just be selling him pills or whatever. This dude was just weird. This dude was just
so was he like they was wholesaling it? And he was supposed to sell it, or they wholesaling it to him, and he just like what was the? I'm trying to figure out what was the scene, about necessarily. Like, who is this guy?
Well, first off,
trying to figure out were they trying to wholesale the product to him?
I think they were trying
all the product to him. He just uses it.
Right.
I think they was trying to actually wholesale it to him. But with this whole scene, man, they definitely busted up something because he done slipped her all kind of roofies or something because she threatened to call the damn police and everything.
He on all types of roofies or something.
Right, he was on something.
Yeah. They've been at this since last Wednesday. Let's just be clear.
Right. What did you give me?
Because I was just like, what just happened? Who is this guy? Why is this important for me to see this right now? He had already made the plan to connect the Flynn's, with CBI. So what was the purpose of me seeing this part?
I felt the same way last week when they showed the scene where Tommy had went to deliver the product for Rohan, and he went to that crack house, the junkie. I felt like, why are you selling to this guy? He's a junkie, are you selling it to him for him to sell the product, or is he using the product? So yeah, I came back to that same question I had last week with this scene, Dana.
Why is this important for us to see? Like, I don't get it. I don't understand it. It
was for us to give a moment where Victor did something bad, where Victor actually took somebody's life. That's all it was for. It was for us.
I mean, look how many people is in this scene. Just look at how many people is in this frame, and the frame prior to that still it's chock full of people. And why does everybody wear black? Like, what the duck? I know Chicago is cold, but good gracious alive, everybody's like black on black on black on black on black on black on black, blackity black, right? It kind of gave me a little Lobos feel, a little bit, Lobos feel. You remember how Lobos used to be like 2 sheets to the wind, right? He's another one that used to be up for like 3 weeks at a time. But I wanted that same feel I got. Remember when the couple was there and they were supposed to be moving weight, but they ended up being junkies, and they wasted weight, and they had their baby,
and they took the baby,
and they killed both of them, and then it was like, he the sweetest little baby. That was terrifying to me. I wanted this scene to give me that same like razor's edge, like these psychotic feel, but it just fell short. Like the little jokes, the fat Tony's on keto, and all of this.
That scene,
it gave us a sense of some kind of savior because they got old girl up out of there, and she clearly was.
But it
drugged.
wasn't needed though. At
It
least with the
wasn't
scene
needed. No,
that
it
Miss Honey
definitely
was
wasn't
talking.
needed.
At
It
least with the
definitely
scene
wasn't
Miss Honey
needed.
was
They got her
talking
up out of there though.
with the Jimenez. At least that was an introduction to the Jimenez. You know,
Yeah.
it went further from that. We
Yeah,
didn't
and
need
then they
this at
felt
all.
like
This is an
formidable
introduction to
foes at
Fat
this
Tony.
point.
Hey, well,
Yeah.
his
I
buddies,
think this was an introduction scene too, Damon.
I mean,
Even
if
though-
this was going to be Savage, according to what Ephraim said, if this was going to give Savage, Tommy would have been like, boom, Fat Tony, boom to the girl, and boom to the
Yup,
guy. Get the money, get the
exactly.
drugs, let's go.
Yep.
it was definitely Buddy's grand opening, grand closing, whoever the hell he was.
yeah, it was his
I mean, but it just even with that though, we go back to his weakness, to Vic's sense of weakness. That would have been completely different if Tommy wasn't there.
Yep.
Yeah,
Mhm.
definitely.
I do think it was an introduction scene though, but we're so distracted by the other characters. I think it's for Fat Tony.
Just the way they're standing
what-
around, like
yeah.
Yes.
the setup is just
I think it's for Fat Tony. I think it's for Fat Tony. Fat Tony is going to be part of Tommy's organization. That's the whole purpose of Tony letting them. That's the whole purpose of
that's a
Tommy
good
letting him
point.
stay
That's
alive.
a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe Fat
was
Tony's
the
gonna
whole
be.
Because he told her to
When
get
he
it. He
gave
told
Tommy
him to
that
get her out of
advice,
here.
when he told Tommy how to get out of there with the elevator to the alley,
Right.
I said right there, that's a new ally.
Okay.
That was.
I need to start looking at it differently. You're
I
right.
agree.
I thought he was just tired of Colin's shit because he just seemed like he's a complete asshole. So
That
that's
too.
what I thought it was. To be
That
honest.
too. But we hadn't seen the last of Fat Tony. He's gonna be working with Tommy too.
I agree.
Yeah.
I thought the same thing when I saw it. Yeah.
In the chat, I agree
It
with
went
this.
right over my head.
In the chat, I agree with this. What pulls my teeth? Vic keep making deals with crackheads. I'm not impressed. I think that's gonna be one of Vic's. That's gonna be Vic's downfall. I agree with
But
that.
it seemed like it was somebody that Walter also knew. So like we
Yeah,
go
okay.
we go further on, you see it seemed like that Walter was actually cool with this guy. He was like, you know, let me call Colin and make it right. So it seemed like it was somebody that he actually knew too.
Well, Colin is an Irish name, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I believe
Yeah.
so.
It is.
Yep. So yeah, I think that's what we got here. It was just the introduction to Fat Tony with a very bizarre scene.
Could have been more bizarre though. Could have been bizarrer.
Yes, dude's name was Colin. That's it. Because when Vic goes back home, you know, and gives Walter the news that, you know, we weren't able to do a deal with Colin, you know, Walter's upset. And Tommy was like, well, you call him all you want to, but he ain't gonna pick up the phone.
Yeah.
You know here,
His
he
water
know
got
here.
turned off.
His water got turned off.
Yeah, here, his water off.
His
Yep.
water off.
Permanently.
He can't pay that bill. It's off.
That bill delinquent and sent to collections. He done.
Right.
So maybe they did get the money and the drugs anyway, Miss Honey, because his water got turned off.
Yeah, they did come. They walked out of there with the money and
They
the
came out
drugs.
bad. Yeah, they came out
Yeah.
bad.
I mean, which they came up, but still.
Yeah. So we get to the gym where Tommy. Here's my thing. Me and Chris talk about this all the time. I'm sorry. It's one of those nuances that Miss Honey always talks about, and it just irks me. How do these people know where everybody is at?
They just pull
You
up.
have a GPS on these people or something. How you know this man at the gym right now? You know, the shop I could take that, but the gym, come on, yo. It's unrealistic. So Diamond in there working out or whatever the case may be, and you know, Tommy approaches him to tell him about the meet between the Finn family and how he wants CBI to show up to the meet, where they want Diamond particularly to show up to the meet. And Jannard ain't feeling it at all. I mean,
Scabs.
he ain't feeling it at all. Like, he's upset at this point. Upset to the point where he challenges Diamond for authority. He's like, look, if you're gonna make this decision, then we're gonna have to fight for leadership. Like, one of us is going to have to be able to call the shots. Both of us can't. And so they get in the ring and they throw them hands. So do we still feel the same way about, even knowing after this scene, how do we feel about Jannard and his intentions now?
He need his ass whooped again.
I agree.
I mean,
agree.
I knew he was gonna get his ass whooped.
And he
Crystal, you said you knew he was gonna get his ass. You see how big that dude's arms is?
I knew because
Got
my
up there
thing
with
is,
him.
well, first of all, ain't no way in the world I'm ever going up against a dude that just spent 15 years in jail.
Yeah, at all.
Facts.
I go up against it, but it won't be in no ring.
At
Yeah,
all.
you know what I'm saying? Like,
Do you see how
And like
big his
Tommy
arms
said,
is?
and like Tommy said,
I think he need his
he
ass.
had nothing to lose. He has everything to gain in that fight and nothing to lose.
Yep.
This scene clearly shows that Jannard is not the alpha male between him and his brother. His brother is still got it. Like, just because your brother has humbled himself and jail has changed him to be much more of a clear thinker and do some things much more strategically, you from the street, your brother is too. Dude, he gonna whoop your ass.
Yep.
Facts.
Well,
Your
the fact
Highness.
that you don't have
Facts. We ain't
shoes
doing
on
that.
too.
Yep.
Right.
Might want to put some shoes on. That helps with
Movement.
traction.
But
Yeah.
I think that's where the MMA stuff comes from, though, because
Yeah.
he said he kicked
because
him in
they're
his legs.
barefooted. That's right.
Yeah, because he
I
kicked
forgot
him in his
about
legs.
that.
He was like, let them legs fly. And he kicked him in
Yeah.
his legs. He was like, I just
Yeah,
hit your
Tommy was
Floridian
like,
nerve.
legs fly.
Yeah, he was like, this martial arts.
That's right. That's right. Well, he could have just took them
karate
socks
kid,
off.
bull, But what I think with this scene, only because we know later, the conversation that he had with Jeremiah. I can't remember Jeremiah's character, but the conversation that he had with him a little bit later, it was pretty much all planned. Like
it was staged.
Yeah.
It was staged.
Yeah. So it was staged. So I'm not saying that the outcome would have been different, but since it was staged, we don't really know what the outcome should have been.
But even with that, we still see the sibling rivalry where he's not going to back down. Diamond's not going to back down. Like at the end of the day, one of us is going to have to.
That's a good one.
One of us is going to have to be on top. And so right now, it's kind of strategic. I mean, even though I'm not rooting for Jannard, it's still kind of strategic because I can't win in this moment. So let me just sit back in the cut and lay some more traps for my brother to fall into. Right. So that's, to me, I think he's plotted scheming at this point.
We got another good point. What pulls my teeth? I love how Tommy started betting with his nephew, who he doesn't know is his nephew. Those are not
the same characters.
It showed the basically that communication between the two starting up.
Those are not the same characters. D-Mac and Jeremiah are not the same characters.
Oh, you know what?
I think so.
No, Jeremiah's character, and I can't remember his name because they said it last episode.
Yeah, because he's younger. He's not the same dude.
No, they're not.
Yeah, that's what I said. He doesn't look like he's 16 at all.
No, this dude is Jannard's best friend. Jeremiah is Jannard's best friend because he was the guy that pulled up last week and picked him up when they had got kidnapped. They're the same character. So Jeremiah's character is in cahoots with Jannard. That's his number 2.
Okay. Well, Tommy is definitely playing the fact that the CBI boys are not getting along. He's definitely buying into that. He kind of stoked the fires with Jannard, by being kind of condescending in his way. And then for as smart and as even keel, Dalai Lama, like Jannard says that Diamond is, he doesn't have the forethought to say, brother, let's step to the side. Let me talk to you for a minute. Let's talk about this.
Right.
And so we see another blow up and dissension amongst the brothers that everybody's seeing. Everybody's in the gym. Tommy.
That's it right there.
The dude that is Begin Again and whoever he's working for. Everybody can see this dissension, and it's kind of what do you call it? Apropos or telling, or I don't know. It's kind of what they say about us anyway, right? Like our people is that, like we're kind of crabs in the barrel. We can't get along. It's kind of being played out there because they're brothers, right? They should have walked off to the side and talked about it. Outside of that, no way Diamond should be going against Jannard with Tommy in front of Tommy.
In front of anyone.
Period. You know, so he's
Unfortunately, the
kind of,
streets
for as
dictate someone
zen
else.
as he
Very
is, he's
good
kind
point.
of breeding
Yeah.
that dissent between the two of them. He's kind of stoking those fires.
But that goes to say, you know, what we were saying about Jannard. Jannard is a high head, man. Like, he could have instantly said, "Hey, Diamond, can I talk to you?" Or we could discuss this later.
But Diamond probably would have been like, no.
His whole thing was like, "Hey, if you want this, come take it." Oh, okay, all right. Now I'm gonna whoop your ass.
But Diamond was kind of stepping on his toes though, because
he was.
At this point, you know, Jannard been running stuff, so he was kind of stepping on his toes. And even though that shouldn't have happened, I think on a different level or different platform, it probably wouldn't have happened like that. Like if it was more of a legitimate business, if it was a beef over, I don't know, if it was a beef over a storefront or something like that, that's one thing. But the streets dictate a different way of handling
organization. So
it's a different set of rules for the streets. So since it was on the street level, I feel as though that was the only way that, and them showing the display of power and getting the following of the organization, that was the only way that was going to be solved, because it was on the street level.
I don't think that Tommy's per se causing this dissension between the brothers. I don't think he's purposely stoking the fire. His presence is creating a dissension between them and the brothers, but I don't think that's Tommy's motivation.
Jannard don't want him around.
Yeah, Jannard just don't want him around, period.
No. Tommy came in the door. He was like, you know, fastest hands in the South or the West or wherever, and all of this and all of that. He didn't even acknowledge Jannard.
He never does.
It's the second time he comes in and he doesn't acknowledge him at all.
He think he a joke.
But it goes back
because
to
he thinks he's a joke, but it comes across that way to me. Tommy's definitely
joke. Remember when they was doing that
back to last week when they were kidnapped together.
They show solidarity. Thanks, Retro.
Yes, they have a they're cut from the same cloth.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? They grew up in the streets with the same code.
Right.
So Tommy connects more with Diamond than he does with Jannard, because you know, he knows that Jannard's ways are pretty much the ways that he came up in the streets. So they have a bit of a connection there. Jannard just presents himself as a nuisance to that. So, you know, Tom is like, just get him out of the way so we can do business, because he's over here, you know, he's too cartoonish, you know.
And if you look at the interaction between Jannard and Tommy's first interaction versus Diamond and Tommy's interaction, it's something completely different. You know, like even when they interacted, when they was first about to get ready to do the drug thing with the Yardies, when he pulled up, when he pulled up, it was something completely different than the first interaction he had with Diamond. So of course he's going to move a certain way with Diamond, and he's going to sway towards Diamond end, you know, just because of those two interactions was completely different.
Yeah. And little buddy didn't really know how to handle himself with, and Tommy saw that. And Tommy saw that he or Vic didn't know how to handle themselves.
Right.
If your gun jam, I ain't got too much respect to say to your ass either.
Yeah.
You know, Courtney Kemps loves a jammed gun.
Yep.
Somebody gun.
Clearly.
This man gun.
Raising Canaan, clearly she loves a jam gun.
Yeah.
Braden's gun jammed. Yeah. We love jammed guns. On
yeah.
This series, man.
How we love your jam guns.
Yeah.
Ms. Honey, you was touching on some things that kind of is going to segue into what me and Crystal were talking about offline. So in this next scene, we see Claudia. She's going to meet with the alderman. You know, she's dressed. She's badass. You know, she's ready to do business.
Yeah, she is.
And one of the things that me and Crystal were talking about with this series that is totally different from book 2 is the fashions. The fashions are totally different. In book 2, everyone is dressed in designer from Fendi, Celine, Louis Vuitton, Gucci. You see it, you recognize it. You don't even
it's so gratuitous.
It's very gratuitous. It's very gratuitous. In this series, it's very subtle.
Yeah, sexy. It's more urban, but it's more elegant.
It asks the question: what does that say about our characterization in designer versus their characterization?
I was thinking the same thing.
Well, like I said offline, I said on one hand, you can be offended by it, But on the other hand, it's not necessarily off. It's not necessarily wrong. I mean, and again, we're talking about general statements, not every single person, but generally speaking, we do want people to see the label, the logo. We want people to know we have it on versus, the other side, they're okay with wearing a designer coat and it doesn't have a logo on it. You just better know that it came off the runway. You know what I'm saying? Like, we see it all the time. And on one hand, it makes you wonder, was this purposefully written that way?
I feel like it is.
Or is it just because it's different writers and they're doing different things? Because it's very, like, it's so night and day. It's so night and day.
Of a lot of things.
Yeah,
I think that's part of it, but I also think that New York culture is part of it too. New York culture and the drug game is part of it too. Just coming up from the Midwest and seeing the things that I see, yeah, it's kind of like that with the designer, but not to the extent that I'm quite sure that New York,
Right.
do it. We saw in every New York drug dealing, that's a little bit more urban, all the way back to Paid in Full, with Rico wearing Gucci outfits and stuff like that. So
Right.
I think that plays a role in it, and it's also like cultural. It might just be the way that we also view culturally.
The reason why I say it's more, I agree with what you're saying. First off, Damon, I agree wholeheartedly with what you're saying. But the reason why I tend to say it's more tailored towards the writing for the characters is because we spent 6 seasons of Power, and we didn't really see that much designer. We saw a little bit of it, but now that we have a different writing team thing going on, it's just like with Yaz. We spent all this time with Yaz. We ain't never seen that girl in anything designer. Now all of a sudden she's in foster care with Burberry on. Come on, yo. Come on, man.
I was like, man, they must have really, really got hooked up with the advertisers and stuff.
Yeah, I definitely think it was product placement. Like, I absolutely believe that. But Fresh Your Highness, that's the point that I'm making. That's the whole point. It's like, yeah, they're still wearing designer stuff. We know that the stuff that they're wearing is very much designer, but it's not the logo. It's not the flashy. It's not the, I want you to know I have on Gucci.
Right. In your face, Gucci. I got the boots, the belt, the panties, the bra, the backpack, everything. Strings, everything. My steering wheel, all of that. My seats.
Every item that she had on had designer. Even her necklace, Chanel.
Yeah.
Every piece that they had on, they going to pull licks with designer clothes on. Come on, y'all.
Yeah.
I mean, Tasha had like a designer room, kind of.
I'm a person that likes to wear designer things, but there's subtlety with how I wear it. And sometimes I want people to know that I have designer on, and then there's other times where you won't know that my wallet is Gucci.
There's never a time that we won't know your wallet is Gucci.
Do you know that my glasses that I'm wearing right now are Versace?
Yes.
No, you don't. You only know that because I told you that I have Versace. Because you can't tell. You can't tell. They don't have a big V on the side of them or whatever the case may be. It's product placement. It's just like what we were saying in Raising Canaan with all the polo.
That's a fact, Fresh Your Highness.
It's just. I guess it's just the writing. It was just very interesting to see that. Some of the same things, even with Claudia's G-Wagon. The difference between her G-Wagon and Monet's G-Wagon, night and day.
Well, I would say too, maybe it has a little bit to do with age appropriateness, right? Like Tariq's show is probably a little bit more college, early 20s, mid 20s oriented, right? And this show, we're seeing a lot of older, individuals that are like late 20s, early 30s type of feel. And it's a little bit more sexy. It's also a little bit more gloomy. Like I said, to me, it's like Yeezy. Yeezy did the whole thing. It's giving me Game of Thrones. Like, there's a lot of sharp edges. There's a lot of dark on dark on dark on dark.
It's definitely different. Me and Crystal were talking about that earlier as well, too, of how the show itself is shot.
The scenery, how the scenes are set up are different.
So Jannard wears the designer in pretty much every scene. Like, we see him in Off-White, we saw him in Fendi, stuff like that. We don't see Diamond in that much, because Diamond is 15 years behind. Like, we can just tell by the baggy clothes, you know, and the things that he actually putting on that he's like 15 years behind. It could be.
See, I don't know labels if they don't have the emblem on them and stuff. I wouldn't know a label. I kept thinking they're dressed alike. Why are they dressed alike? It's weird. They're dressed alike, but
you
now
know, but right here he got on the off-white, like he got on the off-white sweatpants, you know, and
yeah,
you know,
off-white
like
sweatpants, the shoes, and the jacket.
And the socks.
Right. So it's just, and when you see Diamond, you just kind of see, like, we see the cap and gowns, you know, but those probably like some Levi jeans, a dope man jacket.
I mean, he looks like
know,
a Waffle House cook. Yeah,
you know, in a hoodie. You know,
fine. He'll fine Waffle House
those are
cook.
shoes. Y'all keep talking about cap and gowns. Those are shoes.
Yes. Yeah. So it could just be a difference in that. As far as the Flins go, they could all be wearing designer. It's just like the designer that we used to seeing. They could be having no designer.
Well, they have on $1,200
because they don't have the logos.
Easy.
It's not that it's designers we're not used to seeing. They just don't have the logo on them.
Yeah. But that's also kind of a cultural thing too, because we wear logos and their logos is not always on display.
And they'll pay $1,200 for ripped jeans.
Right.
That's the whole point we're making. Yeah, that's it.
Right.
I also like the fact that they use so many different landmarks. They use so many different landmarks in Chicago. Like the Riverwalk is lit, man. And if y'all ever been on Chicago Riverwalk in the summertime, and even like in the fall, between the fall and the winter,
had a Riverwalk.
It's lit. Yeah, damn, you got
a Riverwalk.
I know there's one in Florida.
You got a Riverwalk, bro.
Yeah.
You know,
I've been to the Riverwalk in Chicago.
Yeah, it's definitely nice. All the little bars and all, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The whole little vibe of it is dope, even at night.
Yeah, I'm enjoying all the city visuals for sure.
I love the way it's shot. So in this scene, Claudia meets with the alderman, and we see that she decides to handle this situation totally different than what her father instructed her on how to handle the situation. And she flexed the muscle. You know, she pretty much told alderman, you know, here's a picture of your daughter. It'd be a shame if her school uniform got dirty. So, you know, she used a different way to gain control of the alderman in having to sleep with him. So I thought that was very
when he kept getting smart, I could see in her it just looking at her. She was like, I would not. I wish I would. She had already went there with a plan. That's why I'm like, she's that chick, man. Yeah. Everywhere she goes, she dominates. She leads. Like in all of these scenes, except the scene with her dad and her brother. When a dude throws his balls on, she pulls hers out and she's like, boom. Yeah, let me show you. Let me show you. I move differently. He said, we're both alike. We're a lot alike. We both like meow. She was like, you know what? I don't even have time for this. You know what? Let me tell you something about your dog.
Did y'all see the look on her face when he said that though?
Yeah.
She was disgusted.
As I would have been disrespectful.
It's so disrespectful. And I said this in my review. I'm going to say it here, but I think Claudia is at that place, man. I think she's at that place where if her dad killed over in front of her, she would slow walk to that phone. She'd be like, "Oh, daddy. Oh, okay. Let me go. Let me go and call the ambulance, and she's gonna go in there and fix her a sandwich."
Yep, she's here. Yeah, she's here.
She's at that place, man.
Mm-hmm. I agree. And she also gave him some money. She gave him an envelope full of money as well. So, you know, she dealt with the situation, but I don't feel like the situation is resolved.
No, it's definitely not.
She dealt with the situation, but I don't think it's resolved. I think ultimately they're going to end up taking the alderman out if they have to. But for now, if he's on board, then he gets to live another day, you know. But I think at any point in time, she can make that decision to say, you know, end it, let it be all. Or, and
this is the second time when the Begin Agains dissed Vic. Vic threw that money in the back seat. He was like, "Get your hand off my car. I told you ain't got a cop issue. You got." And he was like, oh, "Okay," and gave him the money. Even with this, she pulled a real boss move on him, but ended up paying him. Visually, it looks as though they're weak to me. Visually, it's not just
this is what I take from that. So that's a good point that you're making. This is what I take for that because it's going back to that scene with Colin as well. I think that this is how they're choosing to handle the situation because of their father.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like if their father wasn't around, she would have took him out, and there would have been that. There wouldn't have been no meeting. There wouldn't have been no trying to finesse him or whatever. So they have to kind of go in line with what their father's wishes are for now, because he's still around. But if Walter's not around, then we're going to see Claudia and possibly even Vic move a whole totally different way. Right now, they have to step and fetch a little bit because
I'm excited about it. I'm ready for Walter to go on to be with the Lord. I need his water to be in his power. You know what I'm saying? I need his gas to be cut off immediately. You know what I'm saying? I need his car to be
You shut off all utilities.
Yeah, repossess the vehicle. You know what I'm saying? Salt the earth.
Damn.
Not you ready for him to go be with the Lord.
Gotta go too.
Walter ain't gonna go be with the Lord.
Especially after that sit down. Especially
Walter
after that sit
Dante.
down.
Yeah. But I think we're actually going to see pretty soon, maybe even the end of this season, Walter gonna go and be with the Lord.
Yeah.
His utilities gonna get disconnected, and there's gonna be that. Because I don't know if it was in this episode or last week's episode where he was coughing real bad. He had got a call from the doctor.
That was last episode.
And he's not taking he's not getting medical treatment. He's self-medicating.
When he was coughing this episode, I was like, let's see the blood in the handkerchief. Let's see the blood in the handkerchief.
That's what I thought was about to happen. I thought we would get ready to see the blood.
I wanted some blood in the handkerchief.
But we also saw that he wasn't as sick in this episode because he had more interaction with the other characters. So, he's trying to tough through it, but really his health is ailing. And he can go on any day now. His water and utilities and everything gonna be
punch his library card.
Yeah.
He needs to revoke. I want his Kroger card taken. I just want all his privileges gone.
Yep.
His Kroger card. Wow. Wow. That might be worse than retro. Wow.
She lost me when she told him she ready to go for be with the Lord.
He ain't going with the Lord.
Yeah, I really want to see what Claudia gives. Like, I'm super excited.
No upper room for him.
No, he ain't going to the upper room at all.
I think where he's going is gonna be hot as hell.
Yeah, so we get back to Tommy's spot, and him and Liliana are talking, and Tommy is still trying to press up on her. Look, tell me what's up with this product, because something don't feel right about this, and I ain't gonna let you leave here with this product. She's like, well, it's half mine too. Yeah, I understand that, but this product is staying here because something fishy. And so I agree, Miss Honey. You said it earlier in this review. She ain't telling all what needs to be told about this product.
It's not enough information.
It's another shoe that's going to drop about it, and I feel like it's going to come out next week. It's going to come out.
She omitting something.
Yeah, somebody
definitely omitting something.
Yeah, big facts. And
when she said she cutting for a lot of people, I'm like, who? Because they've been looking for drugs since like episode 1. And then 2, I was like, who's she cutting for?
I guess she a freelance cutter. Do she run a
I didn't even know that was a job. Yeah, what you do? I'm a freelance cutter. She's a cutter. Cutter dasher.
Do you apply for this job on Indeed?
Yeah, it's a gig. It's a gig.
Indeed for drug dealers.
Yeah, day labor.
You need somebody to cut. I'm here.
She a day laborer. Yeah.
You need a cutter? You need a cutter?
Hey, Crispy, I agree. They say Walter ARP card need to be real.
Yo, my team said, yes, Miss Honey. I'm ready for Miss Walter to take his last cough and be with the leprechauns. Oh my God. Yo. Brutal, man.
Brutal.
He's magically horrible.
That's brutal.
Wow.
Give him his last bowl of
But Authentically Young, that's the conversation we had with book 2 with Monet and Diana when she was basically pimping out Diana.
Facts.
Yeah, but not to the extent that Walter damn near just told.
Well, no, it definitely wasn't as crass.
It was as unhealthy still, nonetheless.
It was the same sentiment. Like use your body to get what you want from men. I mean, again, that's just unhealthy. That's an unhealthy lesson to be teaching your daughter. Like,
yeah, even her relationship with her dad, to me was kind of like, oh, like she was replacing Monet or something.
yeah, it was very unhealthy.
I felt that way too. I felt that it was very like competitive, like
Yeah. I mean, once she got rid of Monet, she's like cooking for him and let me get you something to eat, Daddy. And Daddy,
Yeah.
you okay, Daddy? I was just like, girl, back up.
She's ready to go sit on it for a daddy. I mean,
oh yeah, she seemed like she wanted to replace Monet when she brought him food and not her. I was like, oh, that bitch gotta go.
And I love how they made Monet comment to that. That I was so glad they actually gave her a comment to that because I'm like, realistically, she wouldn't have just brushed that off. She's like, well, you didn't bring nothing to eat for me. Like, yo, what's up with that? Yeah. So
I made the reference to Game of Thrones not just because of the aesthetics, but Game of Thrones was messed up like that.
Yeah,
and when he told her to put some sugar on it, he told Claudia to put some sugar on it, and her brother's sitting right there. Like I was like, what else is Claudia having to do for these dudes? Like what's going on?
Whatever it takes.
Whatever
it takes for the family business to strive. Whatever it takes
like is her dad tipping in her room? Like is she, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. It starts to it's this real unhealthy place where anything could be jumping off.
Y'all didn't hear what she just said.
Put some sugar on it.
She said, "Is the daddy tipping in the room at night?"
Yeah, well, he was like, he didn't say Claudia. He said Bunny. Bunny, put some sugar on it.
He pimping her out.
Ooh, I care what you miss, honey.
he pimping her out pretty much.
He might be tipping in her room, touching her in an appropriate.
Yeah, I mean, it's some 20-year-old women that got kids by their dads.
Oh my god!
Damn.
Might be why she lesbian. Not that that's the only thing that makes you.
Why did this give me Goodfella vibes right here? I don't know why.
I was gonna say the same thing. Goodfellas.
It gave me Goodfella vibes.
The way they shot this scene, it does give you Goodfella vibes right here. And
I was waiting for somebody to say what. So I'm funny to you?
Yeah, right. It give me Goodfella vibes.
Speaking on his Walter's sickness, did y'all notice how Walter grabbed his tie and tried to clear his throat because he
didn't want to show the sickness in front of him.
That's
what I was alluding to earlier.
Yeah.
That's what I was alluding to earlier, that he didn't want to show his sickness around other people.
Right.
He's trying to cover it up. Yes, I agree. So they meet at Gloria's bar. So we're inferring that Gloria's bar is Switzerland. That's a mean point for the gangsters or whatever. And I just try to figure out how these businesses thrive because the criminals spend more time in it than patrons.
Right.
Like Monet's bar, we didn't see one customer in that bar the whole time. At least Gloria had customers.
Ever.
Gloria had customers at night.
Yeah, she had Gloria was fixing food, so she had customers.
Monet, they were just in that boy pouring up.
I don't know what the hell Monet bar for.
I don't even think I ever saw them pour a drink up in there. They just sat in there. They just opened the doors and was like, meet me. It was like the Legion, American Legion in there.
Listen, that's what it was. Bring your own bottle type bar. Right?
What's crazy to me is when they come in here, they're already seated. It's like they come to Jesus moment. It's not a sit down.
Yeah. Well, for
that's
Walter,
what I'm saying. It's right in front of the door.
It personifies his character. You stand before me. I'm gonna sit. It personifies his character in a sense that you're standing before the king.
Right.
And really it should have been, if they were going to shoot it that way, it should have been a sit down across the table between Diamond and Walter. But the way they shot it, they shot it, which we find out in this scene right here exactly what Walter feels about Black people.
Yeah, I mean,
which we had already said, but he made it very clear and known to everyone that he don't like Black folk.
Yeah, I'm starting to question the writers where that's concerned. Because
that's what I'm trying to figure out too, Miss Honey.
I had an issue with Cain being the darker skinned son and Drew being the lighter skinned son. You know what I'm saying? Like they kind of treated Kane like the whipping boy, even though he had those his own flaws, and it wasn't lost on me that he was the darker son, right? And then I'm starting to get those same old vibes with how they're writing this dissension between Jannard and Diamond, and how they're represented, right? How they come across to us visually. And then to come into this scene where Walter sort of dominates, they put him in this position of power, and they really kind of wrote Diamond in this submissive place.
Yes, or for him to be submissive.
Yeah, like tail between the leg place. And it was I don't know, it was just kind of setting my hairs on end a little bit. Like, why do you keep writing the black characters in this way where they don't seem as powerful? When we first saw Power, one of the things that loved about it was that Ghost was this dominant figure. He was smart. He was clever. He was patient. You know what I'm saying? Like, he wasn't explosive and overly emotional. He was very calculating.
He was educated.
Yeah, he was educated. He spoke Spanish. Like, it just was giving us those nuances. But here, I don't know.
I have the same issue, and that's part of my issue that I have with Courtney Kemp's writing style. I had that same issue in Power. Even though I do not like her character whatsoever, I had an issue with how they portrayed Tasha. I had a major issue with how they portrayed Tasha in comparison to Angela. First of all, you got to walk around here with this nappy, busted-ass weave on.
Oh, damn.
Yep.
It's the truth. Tasha wore that same hair for 6 years. She wore the same hair for 6 years. They gave that girl a new hairstyle all throughout Power.
It all finished. She got the same hair in Queens.
Oh, well, then I don't know what to say then. Tasha, I don't know, baby. We do wig stylists or something. I don't know.
Same wig in Queens.
But I had the same issue with how they wrote Tasha's character. And then especially during
a lot of people did.
Especially during that season with Holly versus Tasha, where you had Holly in here. Tasha, they should have written Tasha to be more of a boss. I would have liked to see Tasha's character more like Raquel. I would have liked to see Tasha's character more like Monet. But they made Tasha, and especially in those scenes where they had everyone running up on her. It's like that scene where they had the drug dealer run up on her and threaten to burn down her druggy daycare. Like, Tasha is a boss. Like, you can't tell me that Tasha grew up in the streets and she letting all these people run up on her and she just yield to them.
Yeah, her husband was one of the most powerful men.
The way they wrote her. That's part of the reason why I didn't like her character so much, is because they wrote her weak and submissive. They had her stealing money from her husband. I mean, the way they portrayed her.
Well, she was the one that showed them how to run the books in the first place.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So I see the same narratives. I see a little bit of it in book 2, but it kind of goes back to what Crystal always says about Mary J. Blige's acting. How much of this is actually Mary J. Blige's bad acting, or how much of this is how her character is written? They've got her character written in such a flawed way, and she just like when her husband came home, she's standing around cooking and cleaning. Like, I just don't like the characterization of Black people and how they're writing certain Black characters in this show.
So let me push back a little bit on what y'all are saying. I hear y'all, but I guess my question is, how much of that is written purposefully for the symbolism of it? You know, like, for example, the meeting with that happened with Walter and them already sitting down, and Tommy and Diamond having to come in a place of like they were in a position of power. That was purposefully, in my opinion, that was purposefully done. They got there early so they would be positioned so that Diamond would have to come to them. Like, that was the
and they took all the seats away.
Yes, but yes, remember that's their bar. They pay. She pays them for protection. You know what I mean? Like, she doesn't get to say no when they say we're gonna have a meeting here and we're gonna move this furniture around because we're having a meeting. Like, she doesn't get to say no. Right. So I mean, I think that some of this of what y'all are talking about, I think is symbolism and it is purposefully done some of it, again, you might say, like, going back to book 2, remember, Kanan was the chosen one until he started tripping. So I understand what y'all are saying about the light skin, dark skin, whatever, but Kanan was Mary J. Blige's right-hand man until he started tripping. He did that to himself. I don't think that was about color so much as his character was wilding and was out there and wasn't following.
I don't think it was about color either. I don't think that it was about color. I'm sorry if I came across that way. It just, from the visuals, he's the darker, and then you've got the two lighter that are sort of held in esteem, but he's the visually it looks like, if you don't know everything going on, it looks like he's the whipping boy.
Yep. Well, in this scene, it wouldn't be so obvious to us if it wasn't all the commentary that came out of Walter's mouth in regards to what would the Irish and the rest of the people think if I'm working with black folks and all this. And it almost seems like there's a setup. There was a setup with Diamond in regards to Paulie's wife getting hurt and Walter killing the 9 members of CBI. I feel like that was a setup.
Yeah.
I feel like
he had a bone to pick.
Yes. I also feel like it's related to why he did the 15 years. I think it has something to do with the fact that he went to jail for a crime that he wasn't committed, that he didn't commit, that he was kind of framed for it. But because he wasn't a snitch and, the code of the streets, he did the time. But it felt like Walter was more so digging for revenge than Paulie should have been. I can see if Paulie had this bone to pick with Diamond because you hurt my wife and she had to have plastic surgery and all this, but it seemed like Walter was just standing on this whole narrative that, oh, you black people are destructive and this, and that. I feel like Walter set this up to make Diamond go away because he was a threat, he was competition. So that's what I took away from that scene.
Yeah, Paulie's energy threw me off.
I agree. Like, the reality is, we know that Walter's a racist asshole. So when I say we, I don't mean the people on this panel, I mean in general. So why were we surprised to see that he was a racist asshole? Like, did hearing him actually say the words change what we already knew about him? Yeah. Like, we already knew this is who he was. Yeah. And I do think it was a setup because Paulie immediately, like, as soon as it seemed like they were making some headway, Paulie went left with it. Now, did Paulie go off the script? Or what, did they never have any intention of really making this deal? And they wanted to just have a conversation.
Making the deal.
They did.
Right.
Exactly. So again, I'm not shocked that he isn't a racist asshole. Like,
I wanted him to go slap a bees. But I think for me, because I get it. It adds to the nuance of the show. I definitely understand them getting there first to get the best parking space and set up the seating to their advantage. I get all of that. We knew that we knew from Gloria that Walter's a racist butthole, but I think I just get tired of seeing us being written in a way or shown in a way that's defeated. Like, we're never the hero. We're always these poor mouth, barely making it, can't figure it out. Even Jannard's been running stuff all this time. Tommy shows up and his gun is jamming. He's incompetent. He's some sort of rabid dog that can't control himself and doesn't know how to talk to his brother and reason with his brother. It's coming across, although it's just telling a story, it just comes across in this way where I think we're always being fed a lower typecasting us, and it's especially insulting when it comes from a black person like Courtney Kemp, and especially since we got a strong black character in James St. Patrick.
Kiwan says the same thing with Lulu and Marvin.
You know what? That's a good point.
I didn't even look at it like that. He said the same thing as Lulu and Marvin.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Because the way they write Marvin's character, and I'm gonna agree with Crystal on this. How much of that is actually for the story? And I guess in book 3, it's accepted a little bit better because it fits the narrative of the story. Because Marvin's a screw up. Marvin's this. Marvin's that. Marvin he was getting high on his own product. He tried to sell to the cops or whatever. So for that, I can accept that a little bit better because it coincides with how the story arc is. In other cases, it does come across as if we are being written a certain way. And I don't know if it just touched me this way simply because Walter is just so blatant with his feelings towards working with black.
We're written as incompetent a lot.
I remember that.
Remember when Lulu had the drugs and he moved one box at a time?
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, are we purposefully? Because again, I'm not saying that there isn't some visual there, but are we purposefully writing it that way to create that?
I mean, I guess it has a lot to do with the acting too. I mean, it has a lot to do with how the actor maybe portrays
that's what I was
it.
ready to say. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
because like I said, Paulie's character, the way he jumped up, like from the moment we met Paulie, he seemed like a cool character. Like he was the only level head in the room. The way he jumped up and Walter pulled it back down, I was like, Paulie, what you doing? Calm down, sir. Bring it down. Like, come on, baby, we just a meeting.
We see that Tommy did apologize to Di before. He's like, "Yo, I didn't bring you here for that. I didn't bring you here for you."
Concord.
Yeah, I spot the Concords. So
that's the shoes, really, B. That's the shoes.
I know Concords. I know what Concords are. I know what Concords are.
Good job. Good job.
Proud of you.
But Diamond tells him, like, yeah, I knew this was going to be the outcome, but that's not on you. That's on the city. So what do you think he meant by that comment?
I think he overall meant that it everybody know what's up, but they're gonna keep that lie going.
Yeah,
that's what I think. I think what was perceived didn't actually happen.
Okay.
I think when you said that's on the city, I think that's just another reference to the history. You don't know the history, and this is on.
And you think the rule, you don't have to live by the rules, but I do.
Right.
I got to work within those parameters. Yeah.
Right. This is part of that institutional knowledge that you don't have.
Over. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I agree.
What's with these two matte vehicles?
Hey, them dope. That's a
yeah, but
that's a Rolls Royce, and then the other one I think is a
Lambo,
Yukon or Tahoe.
The other one is a one is a Rolls Royce, and I thought one is a Lambo.
I was thinking
that ain't no Lambo, bro.
I was thinking it was like a.
So are these his boys that he roll out, or
that's probably entourage?
Yeah, because remember at the end when Gerard is talking to the other dude, he said we split about 50-50, but eventually the rest of them are gonna come with me. So he has a crew. There were people that stayed with Diamond.
Right.
Yeah. So he meets up with Gloria outside the bar, and she makes a comment about, well, nah, I guess I know what you do. He was like, well, hell, you didn't ask. Looked like she should have known what he did when he that scene when he beat Paulie down in Allen. She should have known what he was.
Right. Like, I don't know why. I don't know what your question was.
You right.
Really say, I don't know what
you thought he was so close at the gap. What you thought he
did?
Like,
what did you think this dude? What did you think he did?
I guess what
the
hell? Really, B said, what's your question for me?
When she told him that she was paying for protection, he was like, "How you get into that?" Like it was a whole conversation. What did you think he didn't understand?
He even asked her, "Do you want me to take care of that for you?"
Right, like.
Yep. So we finally see the feds. The feds are watching now.
Hey, that fed look like 2-bit, bro.
He does.
He don't look like he need to be no feds though.
Well, we know it's not him, but he definitely look like 2-bit.
Yeah, I don't know what. Yeah, I don't know what they got going on right here, but in that scene, Tommy noticed something in his rearview mirror. What did you think he was noticing? Did you think
he noticed them? I think
he saw them.
That's what I thought
I be
too.
fresh as hell. Why the feds? Why he would do this to feds?
Yep.
Yeah, when he said "son of a," I was like, "He
Yeah.
still
Damn, she got a camera lens on her.
okay."
So white as ever too. Like you
That's a stealth coat.
could.
That's a stealth coat. She can see the space with that.
Right, ain't no stealth for that.
For real, she can see the stars with that. Yeah, she was watching. So you see Gloria, I mean not Gloria, but Claudia pull up on Tommy, and the fact that she pulled up on him by herself, this speaks to the fact that she's a boss. Like she pulled up on him unarmed with no entourage. Well, she probably was armed, but the fact that she pulled up on him that way just speaks to me that she's a boss. And they have a conversation. And what do you think that she's trying to do right now? Are you thinking she's hedging her bets?
She's sizing him up.
Yeah. Do you think that she's going to roll this new drug out with Tommy?
Yeah, I think she was sizing him up and trying to see if he would be interested. I mean, the men in her past have shown her that she has to be cautious with ideas. And so she did it in a way to just kind of bait him a little bit.
And they seem to be disinterested in wanting to roll out this new product. So I think she's going to roll out this new product with Tommy.
Yeah,
So,
they had a little bit of chemistry too.
Yeah. So you think they're going to end up hooking up? I mean, I think that's what we were saying last week, that you think that they're going to hook up.
Yep, I think it's gonna happen.
I don't know. I mean, it'll be by default. It'll be after Gloria goes to be with the Lord.
You be Walter. Oh, you said after Gloria. After Gloria goes to be with the Lord. Yeah, she gonna go to the upper room.
I mean, I think he likes Gloria, but he's intrigued by Claudia for sure.
Yeah. So
the champ is here.
We see that Jannard and his little right hand meet up, and they're basically talking about the scheme, and that's when we learn that the crew is divided. Half of them are going to be on Jannard's side, half of them are going to be on but then Jannard pretty much says, well, all of them are going to be on my side eventually. So that tells you right there he's plotting, scheming against his brother to take his brother down eventually. So
it's unfortunate.
How far do you think he's going to take this? Do you think he's going to try to set him up to go back to jail, or do you think he's going to try to kill him?
He can go all the way to the point where he's back to being in charge, whether it's CBI or otherwise. But he's going to go all the way until he gets what he wants.
Yeah,
he feels as though that he needs his respect.
Is get down to lay down. Like he told him, he said, one way or another, all of them going to end up over there. So it's get down to lay down.
I just wonder how they're going to shoot him. How are they going to shoot them going forward? Because now what we've seen in the last 3 episodes, they're together. There's some camaraderie, even though there's been this bit of dissension. Now, are we just going to see Jannard lurking and watching Tommy and Diamond move around? Like, how are they going to shoot these brothers that are in dissension now? Like, how are they going to show them to us going forward?
I think you're gonna see like an obvious beef between the two.
Yep.
But I don't think it'd be to the point where things would be like. I don't think that it'd be a point where Gerard would come off as condescending to whatever it is that that Diamond direction, that Diamond push CBI. I think he'd be working behind the scenes in order to get things to go in his favor and mold it back to.
Well, see, the reason I said that is because he said some guys went with him. So does that mean he's going to get his own corners, or it doesn't seem like they're going to be able to still work together? It's not like, I'm number 2 since he won the fight. I'm number 2, but I'm going to be sneaking him from behind the scenes.
They'll coexist for a minute.
No, he even mentioned that basically taking that ass whooping was part of the plan.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. It's a wolf in sheep's clothing, is what it is. It's going to be exactly like what we saw with Kanan and Ghost. Remember when Kanan first got out of jail, he came back into the fold and he tried to act like he was a friend of the fold. And
He
had his own.
So the guys that are with him are still gonna pretend. It's all, everybody's in on it. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
They're running a scam right now.
Yeah, that makes sense, because I was like, well, how are they gonna shoot them if they can't be together because they enemies now? But I see what you're saying. He's gonna be the Trojan. He's pretending to be the Trojan horse, or anyway, something like that.
Yes, they're going to have solidarity, and it's going to look like they have solidarity, but really he's going to be working against his brother's agenda behind the scenes, and he's going to use his little minions to kind of, plug and play in different situations to kind of usurp Diamond, or to either try to be a thorn in their side from the inside. But it's not going to be obvious. It's the same thing with Dre. It's the same thing with Dre. You know how Dre was playing both sides, and he would do this to make it seem like.
Man, where is Dre? I miss his treachery.
Burned up
in the upper room.
I miss his treachery.
Burned up.
But I'm gonna be honest. I don't know. I guess we'll wait and see. I don't think he's gonna be that subtle. I think he's gonna be very obvious about the fact that he ain't rocking with his brother. Like, I don't know.
They may write him that way.
They
may write him that way because right now,
the fact that they had because again, it goes back to what Miss Honey said, that they aired this out publicly, so everybody knows that there's a side in this.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't think it's gonna be that quiet.
Pick a side,
and they may write him that way because he's so vocal about his feelings up to.
But that's why I said when he made the statement, one way or another, all of them gonna end up with me. It's get down or lay down. You can do what you want to do whole time, but just know you're gonna pay. It's gonna come at a price.
Yeah,
I agree with what pulls my teeth. I don't think he lost that fight on purpose. I think he got his ass kicked.
When they first said it, I was like,
I think that the brother realized last week, or maybe even earlier when they were at that the baseball field. I think the brother realized at some point we're gonna have to figure this out, and a side is we're gonna have. I think he figured out there was gonna have to be a battle, but I think he really thought he was gonna kick his brother's ass because, again, remember, he thought the ace in the hole was that whole martial arts shit. Yeah. Oh yeah,
but he only used it once.
In the leg, he talking about some. Yeah, see, you can't figure it out. Like, I think he really thought that was it. And his brothers, listen, prison shit will be all that shit any day. Okay, I think he thought he really could beat his brother's ass.
Well, we know he was quick to get his ass whipped.
Because remember, if his brother, if it hadn't been the fact that was his brother, dude was gonna get his water turned off. We saw Diamond physically stop himself from continuing to whoop his ass, and nobody was gonna stop Diamond from doing it. Diamond had him down, pinned down, and he ain't lose that fight on purpose.
But do you think that he did that and he made him to believe that he was willing to fight? Because does he really know MMA? Like, he was just like let your legs fly.
I'm gonna look it up because he did a good kick.
Yeah,
I watch MMA. He did a good kick, so I wonder if he
really knew what he was doing.
So I think if he really knew MMA and him being a technical fighter, that he'd give a prison fighter a run for his money because he a brawler versus somebody that's a technical fighter.
It didn't really go on long enough either, though.
I was getting ready to say that too.
Like, to me, it's kind of
that long. It was more of a scrimmage between brothers, and I feel like the whole MMA thing was when he saw that he was losing the advantage.
Yeah, it was a scrimmage
on a hand-to-hand, but I still feel like he threw it the fight. Well. Then again, he didn't have no fight left in him because Diamond was getting ready.
I don't think he threw that fight.
I like the storyline though.
Yeah, I like the storyline.
Real or fake, I like the idea of it. I think it's brilliant, to put it in that way.
Won't know. We won't know. Like, we can debate this all day long. We don't know whether. I think he thought he could beat his brother, and at what point
maybe
he
that's
realized
what it is. Maybe that's the message that I actually think I could beat him. Yeah. Okay,
I just wanted to do like my dad and come in and whip both of them and make them hug their neck. Hug his neck. Hug his neck. Hug your brother's neck.
And so we finally figure out what this mysterious, sexy Asian lady, what her character is. Apparently, she worked for a pharmaceutical company. And she had a drug that was rejected by the FDA because it was
close to being coke.
Yeah, so this is their wonder drug.
She's a chemist then, right?
Chemist, yeah. Yep. So, and then we also learned that Claudia is going to move with her on the side. you know, we're gonna have this hustle on the side. So my family's not gonna be a part of this. Me and you gonna move together. So eventually, she probably gonna take that lady out. I don't think that she's gonna keep that lady around, but we'll see.
She gonna go like the chef. I mean, I'm just saying.
She's gonna be like the chef, right?
I'm just saying.
Poor
You
chef,
can't
boy.
just,
He
can't
didn't
just
see
keep
that
snuffing
coming.
out all your Asian characters, Courtney.
Yeah, it was a bad. Wasn't it a bad diet drug?
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
it's
it was a bad
originally a
diet drug.
diet drug, but the
was a bad
components
diet
are
drug.
like two steps away from being actual cocaine, more powerful than
Right.
cocaine. That's why she told Tommy, Claudia told Tommy, I got something that'll kick your teeth in. She's talking about that drug.
So they're
Right.
gonna sell it as its own drug, or is it they're gonna mix it with the cocaine? Or,
It's
No,
gonna
I
be a
think
new
that's gonna
it's a
be his
new
own
synthetic drug, kind of like
Okay,
when
okay.
Molly and those came out.
Okay.
Molly and those, like they real
His
people.
brother, didn't Vic mention it at some point in the like the first episode? He said, you know, we don't deal in those designer drugs.
Yeah,
I think they did. I think he did.
that synthetic-ish.
Well, we know it's a synthetic drug then.
Yeah, she definitely came out, and it's got a. I couldn't figure if it had a blue hue or if the bottle had a blue tint to it.
The
But
bottle may have had a blue tint, but I thought the drug itself had kind of like a neon hue. to it.
yeah, well, hopefully it's not like that fentanyl, man. That fentanyl taking
Well,
folks
I
out of
hope it ain't like
here.
that stuff that Kanan cooked up in book 3.
Ooh.
Oh man,
The whole house full of
I
people.
know.
he said
Everybody
this shit
did.
broke all the
Everybody
rules.
From the windows to the wall, everybody did.
Yeah, you smell the fumes on it. You out. Yeah. So overall, not bad episode, but not the greatest episode. But I'm ready for things to take a turn up. Again, I do feel like my predictions is I do feel like Gloria is going to be murdered. I do feel like we haven't seen the last of the Servians. Again, I do feel like Milan's wife is probably going to come back. And she's going to be a thorn in Tommy's side because at this point we got to give Tommy a villain. And it doesn't seem like he has a villain right now.
Oh.
It seems as if he's kind of riding the fence between the two different organizations and all of them are tolerating him. But Tommy needs someone that's after him.
Yeah.
And so that's why I feel like the whole Servians coming back with Jason being killed and Milan being killed. I don't think that we've seen the last of the Servians, and the fact that they were based out of Chicago and Jason ran such a large organization. I don't think that Tommy's going to be able to walk the streets of Chicago and not have a target on him. So to me, I feel like that's what's going to crank things up and give us some action. Because if we stay on this course that we're on right now, then we're going to be on a boring show for the entire season. Because we need some action at this point, and we need someone to bring the heat to Tommy. And
well, did you see the trailer for next Sunday?
I haven't seen the trailer yet. What's
It
up?
was giving me Queen of the South.
I ain't saying nothing.
Right.
Go watch it again.
It's not a spoiler. What's the trailer? What's in the
Go
trailer?
watch the end. Hey, it was getting cracking, man. They were shooting some shit
It's
up.
definitely a cartel because they rolled in, on the back of the Jeep, with the guns in the air.
Truck and everything.
Oh, then that's some Serbians then. It's the Serbians then.
Yeah.
This is Serbians.
My thing is
Liliana had
that
the AR. Yeah, it was busting.
my thing is
Those are
that
the
if
Jimenez.
Courtney is
I think
setting up
when
all
they
these.
killed the Jimenez, they killed off that organization just like they killed off Lobo's organization. But I don't think that they killed off the Serbians. And
But the sister didn't die though.
Who?
The sister didn't die. She went to
She
jail.
got arrested. I
Yeah,
thought.
yeah. But I thought they killed her in jail. No, remember they broke her out of jail to kill her. They broke her out of jail to kill her. Ghost and Tommy, they broke her out of jail, and Jason killed her.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
They broke out of jail. They broke Alicia
But
out.
I just think it's so much double crossing going on. Like it's double crossing, like a regular double cross, but then you put 2 extra double crosses on top of it. Like there's a lot of double crossing going on. And
Double, triple, quadruple.
Yeah, it just leaves it in this way where things can go in any direction and we're chasing all of these loose ends. I don't like that feeling, right? And I wanted to get a little bit more brutal, man. I wanted to be drug dealing. Come on, let's cut some people's heads off. Let's electrocute some people.
Cut
What are we
people's
doing?
heads off and electrocute people.
Yeah, I mean, what are we doing? We're not butchering anybody.
It's coming.
Yeah, we ain't
I
seen
think
the
it's coming.
butchery since Kane chopped up what's his name?
I think it's
all
gonna
I
come.
asked
He'll burn some
for.
skin, some layers of skins, all things.
Yeah,
I think it's
That's all I want. That's all I
Yeah.
want is just
Barely a third
dismemberment.
episode. We got 7 more to go, so it's definitely coming.
Some light dismemberment. That's all I want.
You want this?
Yeah. A nose turn up in somebody's coffee or something.
A little light, a horse's head in the bed. Like what?
Yeah, an ear in the pepper soup.
We lost a whole dog.
Yeah.
In power. Okay, Kane shot his own son in the face.
Yeah,
we got it. It's what
coming.
happened. It's what happened. I mean, somebody did die. It wasn't brutal. It should have been like brain splattered all over here. He said paint the walls.
Yeah, it's coming.
Can't paint. He wasn't gonna paint the wall. He put a pillow over his fucking head.
Yeah,
Had to muffle the shot.
A throw pillow at that.
Right.
So if anything, he painted them down for hardwood floors.
I think next week we're gonna get a little bit more action, Miss Honey. So we'll see. We'll see next week. We'll see if we get your
I'll definitely be in the chat.
Yeah. No, you won't be on the show next week, Miss Honey.
Oh, okay.
Especially if it's lit.
I don't want to outstay my welcome. I also don't want to be making eggs and bacon.
Well, we're not gonna talk about that on camera. We're not gonna talk about our caterer. We need to find us a new caterer.
Please do. Please. I'm begging y'all to. Please do.
We need to find us a new caterer because our caterer
I don't want to be the new caterer.
Needs to be fired.
Please do.
Oh, Miss Honey, we gotta write you up a contract.
You and us.
Don't sign anything, really, B.
I got a contract between me and you.
This says you do what I tell you to do.
I got a contract between me and you.
No, you don't. No.
I put a little Suge Avery pee in your
Well, I'm glad my brothers understand what I'm going through over here. I'm glad my brothers understand, but
no, they don't. And Marvin know he better not be taking your side.
Like I said, anyway, we need to hire some new caterer fellas because our caterer, she needs to be fired. She does.
Don't make me cuss y'all out.
Take them off to the side and do it.
Right, you know what I'm saying?
You are only sister, so we got to go.
Right. So anyway, y'all, thank y'all for tuning in. We cut the fool with y'all right now, but we appreciate y'all tuning in. So I don't know. We're gonna get our episode 4 out. We need to do our episode 4 of Bel Air too, so we need to get that out this week as well, and then get episode 5 out this week of Bel Air. But as always, you can find us on our social media platforms. You can follow the TSF Entertainment on Instagram. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can find me at RetroCG on Instagram.
You can find me at ReallyBTV on YouTube. Please come on over, comment, subscribe, join us, all that great stuff.
Miss Honey, where can we find you at?
I'm Miss Honey here on YouTube, and I'm Miss Honey 8, the number 8 on IG.
Marvin?
No, we're gonna let Dame go because he's not anywhere, but he's there.
Jacket Jordans. I'm outside. I'm everywhere, even when you don't see me.
Yeah. Well, I'm on IG, Juggernaut _ Souls. Just dropped another video on my YouTube channel, which is Juggernaut of Souls. My first purchase from Stadium Goods, and man, y'all know how it go.
Oh, can I make a quick announcement?
Yes, you can.
Okay, join me in 10 minutes on my channel because we're going to be discussing the documentary We Need to Talk About Cosby. So that's where I'm about to head. Literally in 10 minutes.
We about to go stand up on tables in your chat.
We'll meet you back over there, then, really be.
All right.
We finna go pull up in your chat
right now. We finna pull up in your chat like a fool.
Yep.
I'll be listening.
About to get in your chat and go off.
Yep.
Oh Lord. Here we
All
go.
right, guys. We'll see y'all later on.
All right.